Wimbledon semifinals 2023 men's edition. So we've got the semifinal between Djokovic and Sinner, and the semifinal between Daniil and Carlos. I will start with Carlos and Daniil. I do think Carlos can take this in 4. I do think the matchup between Daniil and Carlos is just a losing one for Daniil. I think Carlos's game is just something he's not comfortable with and might not be able to handle even on grass. Carlos has shown, starting with the Queen's Championship, that his game is quite adaptable to grass, and he has definitely built confidence on the surface. So I'm going to give this to Carlos in 4. The Sinner and the Djokovic matchup is a little bit more tricky. Djokovic definitely is feeling very comfortable, very much the favorite at Wimbledon. I think he is going for the calendar slam this year, and that is really pushing him through all his matches. Sinner, on the other hand, I think is suffering from a little bit of the Casper reputation, I would call it. I don't think a lot of people have a lot of faith in him, but I am going to give this to Sinner in 5. I think based on his results last year, where he took 2 sets off Djokovic, I think he's much more of an improved player this year and might be able to take it to Djokovic. I think being the underdog in this situation for Sinner might actually help him a lot.
Hey guys, welcome from Bytom. So my prediction for the Djokovic-Sinner semi, it should be fairly obvious, right? There's a lot of linear power coming at Djokovic, just like in the Rublev matchup, and he's like the best in the whole world at handling it. I know it went to 5 sets at Wimbledon last year, but all of the sets that Djokovic won were super lopsided. He got the early break in every single one of them, and it never really felt like Sinner was that close to winning. I don't think he's clean enough at the net to win this one. And Medvedev Alcaraz, I have to go with Carlos because he just seems to have a big matchup edge. In Indian Wells, he was servant volleying out wide to practically half the time, and it was such an efficient tactic. I don't really see how Medvedev really battles it. He also moves him up and down the court the way other players cannot. So I think he's got a pretty big edge there. And of course, Medvedev is likely to snatch a set, but kind of unlikely to win. See ya.
For the first match between Djokovic and Sinner, I am going to be going for Djokovic in 5. I believe Sinner will go something like 2 sets up or 2 sets to 1 up, something similar to last year. before Djokovic rallying back near the end to take it in 5 sets. And then going over to Medvedev versus Alcaraz. I'm expecting Alcaraz to win, and I think it will probably be as well in 5 sets. I'm going for an epic day today of 5-set thrillers, and I suspect that one it'll be nip and tuck all the way, with Alcaraz taking it probably quite quickly at the death in the 5th set.
Okay, Wimbledon semifinals 2023 men's edition. So we've got the semifinal between Djokovic and Sinner, and the semifinal between Daniil and Carlos. I will start with Carlos and Daniil. I do think Carlos can take this in 4. I do think the matchup between Daniil and Carlos is just a losing one for Daniil. I think Carlos's game is just something he's not comfortable with and might not be able to handle even on grass. Carlos has shown, starting with the Queen's Championship, that his game is quite adaptable to grass, and he has definitely built confidence on the surface. So I'm going to give this to Carlos in 4. The Sinner and the Djokovic matchup is a little bit more tricky. Djokovic definitely is feeling very comfortable, very much the favorite at Wimbledon. I think he is going for the calendar slam this year, and that is really pushing him through all his matches. Sinner, on the other hand, I think is suffering from a little bit of the Casper reputation, I would call it. I don't think a lot of people have a lot of faith in him, but I am going to give this to Sinner in 5. I think based on his results last year, where he took 2 sets off Djokovic, I think he's much more of an improved player this year and might be able to take it to Djokovic. I think being the underdog in this situation for Sinner might actually help him a lot.
Hey guys, welcome from Bytom. So my prediction for the Djokovic-Sinner semi, it should be fairly obvious, right? There's a lot of linear power coming at Djokovic, just like in the Rublev matchup, and he's like the best in the whole world at handling it. I know it went to 5 sets at Wimbledon last year, but all of the sets that Djokovic won were super lopsided. He got the early break in every single one of them, and it never really felt like Sinner was that close to winning. I don't think he's clean enough at the net to win this one. And Medvedev Alcaraz, I have to go with Carlos because he just seems to have a big matchup edge. In Indian Wells, he was serve volleying out wide to practically half the time, and it was such an efficient tactic. I don't really see how Medvedev really battles it. He also moves him up and down the court the way like other players cannot. So yeah, I think he's got a pretty big edge there. And of course, Medvedev is likely to snatch a set, but kind of unlikely to win. See ya.
For the first match between Djokovic and Sinner, I am going to be going for Djokovic in 5. I believe Sinner will go something like 2 sets up or 2 sets to 1 up, something similar to last year, before Djokovic rallying back near the end to take it in 5 sets. And then going over to Medvedev versus Alcaraz. I'm expecting Alcaraz to win, and I think it will probably be as well in 5 sets. I'm going for an epic day today of 5-set thrillers, and I suspect that one it'll be nip and tuck all the way, with Alcaraz taking it probably quite quickly at the death in the 5th set.
Okay, Wimbledon semifinals 2023 men's edition. So we've got the semifinal between Djokovic and Sinner, and the semifinal between Daniil and Carlos. I will start with Carlos and Daniil. I do think Carlos can take this in 4. I do think the matchup between Daniil and Carlos is just a losing one for Daniil. I think Carlos's game is just something he's not comfortable with and might not be able to handle even on grass. Carlos has shown, starting with the Queen's Championship, that his game is quite adaptable to grass, and he has definitely built confidence on the surface. So I'm going to give this to Carlos in 4. The Sinner and the Djokovic matchup is a little bit more tricky. Djokovic definitely is feeling very comfortable, very much the favorite at Wimbledon. I think he is going for the calendar slam this year, and that is really pushing him through all his matches. Sinner, on the other hand, I think is suffering from a little bit of the Casper reputation, I would call it. I don't think a lot of people have a lot of faith in him, but I am going to give this to Sinner in 5. I think based on his results last year, where he took 2 sets off Djokovic, I think he's much more of an improved player this year and might be able to take it to Djokovic. I think being the underdog in this situation for Sinner might actually help him a lot.
Hey guys, welcome from Bytom. So my prediction for the Djokovic-Sinner semi, it should be fairly obvious, right? There's a lot of linear power coming at Djokovic, just like in the Rublev matchup, and he's like the best in the whole world at handling it. I know it went to 5 sets at Wimbledon last year, but all of the sets that Djokovic won were super lopsided. He got the early break in every single one of them, and it never really felt like Sinner was that close to winning. I don't think he's clean enough at the net to win this one. And Medvedev Alcaraz, I have to go with Carlos because he just seems to have a big matchup edge. In Indian Wells, he was servant volleying out wide to practically half the time, and it was such an efficient tactic. I don't really see how Medvedev really battles it. He also moves him up and down the court the way other players cannot. So I think he's got a pretty big edge there. And of course, Medvedev is likely to snatch a set, but kind of unlikely to win. See ya.
For the first match between Djokovic and Sinner, I am going to be going for Djokovic in 5. I believe Sinner will go something like 2 sets up or 2 sets to 1 up, something similar to last year, before Djokovic rallying back near the end to take it in 5 sets. And then going over to Medvedev versus Alcaraz. I'm expecting Alcaraz to win, and I think it will probably be as well in 5 sets. I'm going for an epic day today of 5-set thrillers, and I suspect that one it'll be nip and tuck all the way, with Alcaraz taking it probably quite quickly at the death in the 5th set.
I'm sure I'm going to get a barrage of messages in the live chat right now saying, John, you're on mute. You're on mute. I fixed it. Sometimes it's a minute in before I fix it. So at least on this occasion, I fixed it within a few seconds. I do have another video I just want to show you very quickly, which is from another person from the show. It looks like I may be able to download. Let's see if I can. But anyway, if I can't, then no problem. Listen, let me know your thoughts on this match in the live chat. Of course, as you may have seen, it is going to be under the roof. So, yeah, who does that favor? Not sure. To be honest with you, probably Djokovic, bearing in mind his indoor record is pretty stellar. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the match. They are about to get underway. The head-to-head, by the way, is 2 for Novak Djokovic and 0 for Jannik Sinner. Of course, they have played once before on grass a year ago, also at Wimbledon, which went 5 sets. Sinner winning the first 2 sets, 7-5 and 6-2, before Djokovic steamrolled his opponent, as is so often the case. Looks like there's just a few more seconds to go before they get underway. We've got a British umpire today, so at least we have some British representation in the semi-final. And a little stat for you here. Jannik Sinner is only the 2nd player in the last 2 decades to reach the men's semi-final or single semi-final at Wimbledon without playing a seeded player. By the way, in the tournament, Jannik Sinner has 2 more aces than Novak Djokovic. How about that? Some suggestions there that, of course, Jannik has improved his serve under his opponent, compared to his opponent. Yes, Jack, I can. I can make sure that's done. I don't know if you are tuning in. But yes, Jack is en route. He will be joining me in a minute, and he just wants to make sure that somebody can cover him for about half an hour at some point during his commentary. By the way, we've got plenty of support for Sinner in the chat. I see Terry there going forward to Sinner. Also, I saw somebody else earlier on suggesting that they were hoping for a Sinner victory, possibly in 4 sets. The consensus, though, is that Novak Djokovic is the favorite, and that makes sense. I think he's only lost 1 semi-final at a Grand Slam in recent years, and of course, that was to Dominic Thiem in 2019 at the French Open, and that was super tight. So, yeah, don't know whether many people are giving Sinner a chance, but there is plenty of support for him, at least in the chat. By the way, for those of you tuning in, make sure you hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Novak Djokovic is going to serve first. Of course, it's with new balls. He holds the ball up, shows his opponent the ball. Is it the last time, though, he shows his opponent anything in this match? Djokovic to serve. Down to the forehand of Sinner. It's not a bad return from Jannik. Jannik on the backhand. Now it's Novak on the backhand. Forehand Jannik after he seemed to stumble a bit there. Will be interesting to see how Jannik's fitness holds up. He's just touching the grass. Yes, indeed, he does nearly fall. And I have Jack. Jack, just give me a thumbs up if you want to wait another minute or two to finish whatever you are. By the way, I'm more than happy to wheel you in whilst eating. There's been far worse crimes committed on this show. None more than by me, of course. How are you doing, Jack? Oh, you're on mute.
I'm chasing my tail, but I'm good, thank you.
Yeah.
And I haven't finished my sandwich. I will finish it while we're on, if that's okay.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. As Sinner puts a forehand return into the net. Jack, I'm just going to go off air for a few minutes, but I'm never far away. And yes, I can cover you for that half an hour you suggested.
Sounds good, John. Thank you very much.
Actually, I'll let you wait. I'll wait till you finish your sandwich. I'll just talk us through this first game, and then I'll let you take over. All right. So I might be a few seconds behind you. So there we go. Novak clips the net, but it's going to be a first serve because he clips the net and lands in. As I said, Sinner did have a little stumble there, and then had a little feel of the grass. I don't know how quickly they closed the roof when it was raining earlier, but there's little excuse to do so, given that there wouldn't have been much of an audience at the time. Sinner, good passing shot. Novak gets his racket on it, but it's not enough. But yeah, there's no excuse because, of course, it's a bit trickier when the players are in the middle of a match to start thinking about, do we close the roof of the few spots of rain? In the morning, they can even do it preemptively. I've even seen them do it like 15, 20 minutes before a match, where they've obviously got the predictions and the forecast suggesting rain is en route, so they just close the roof anyway. 30-15, Novak goes to the backhand of Jannik, goes behind Jannik, also on the backhand side, trying to do the same again, but this time goes wide. It's 30 all. Damien, by the way, sort of compared the matchup, Jack, to something similar to Rublev, albeit that Sinner may be a little bit better in certain departments. Certainly Sinner's serve seems to have improved. What are your thoughts, Jack?
Well, that's unfair. I think Sinner's backhand's definitely better than Rublev's, without a doubt. He gets a lot more topspin on it. He can do a lot more damage in that wing. That makes a big difference.
Maybe he thought it was more sort of he could see it going the way. I'm just trying to. It was 1 minute of commentary from him earlier, just suggesting that he could see it going the same way. But I think he was also making similar sort of thoughts to. Oh, that's a lovely forehand winner.
Yeah, so I'm probably a tiny bit ahead. I just want to say, by the way, the last 3 sets of their meeting last year, Sinner didn't break. So this is a pretty big opportunity. Immediately break point.
Good point. And it is a good point for Jannik Sinner because it was a lovely forehand winner. Okay, I'll talk us through this and then we'll come back to Jack in a second. So Jannik Sinner on the return. Novak will obviously be keen to get a first serve in here. He does so, of course. It's not a bad return, though, from Jannik. And he's certainly in the rally, although he's being pushed around now. And it was a really good forehand out wide that pushed Jannik into an error at deuce. Yeah, okay, that's really interesting. I mean, my memories of that match really, because really I didn't tune into that match until 2 sets to love. I then just saw I saw Novak get a pretty early break in the 3rd set, and it was kind of plain sailing from there.
Yeah, Novak, after the first 2 sets, kind of went Sinner's way. I mean, he tuned up his serve so nicely. He barely missed a spot from there on in. It wasn't really Sinner's fault that he lost those last 3 sets. Novak was amazing. Immediately, Sinner out here, though. Novak's not been the best this tournament. Honestly, he's not been at his best form. I'm not surprised we're seeing a lapse immediately, already not hitting his spots. This could go similarly to last year. Maybe Sinner wins the first set and then Novak turns it up a notch. I do think Sinner's had a lot of time to think about that match. He'll have done a lot of things to, fix any problems he had last year. He was struggling to hold his serve while Novak just flew through his. It should be tougher. John.
You might be right about Novak's level this tournament, but I see parallels with him at this tournament and the French Open. I see parallels at this tournament and a lot of Grand Slam winning tournaments from Novak, Rafa, and Roger. In that, I mean, take Paris. There were certain moments, probably in the first couple of rounds, when yes, he went through, but he wasn't. But then, and he was in trouble against Khachanov, and then he just played unbelievably for about an hour and a half and put himself basically serving for the match. And I think he may have been broken when he was serving for the match, funny enough, but he was just insanely good. I also thought at times against Rublev, he was insanely good too, but just like he was down a set and Sinner's just scored at that breakpoint chance as well. He was down a set to Rublev. Rublev kind of snatched that set. Novak could play better, but there were moments when I thought, Rublev was getting frustrated, but it was also because Novak was staying in points that he should be losing, sliding across the court as though it's Philippe Chatrier and, stretching and just, what have you got to do to win a point against this guy? And then Rublev, I think, would eventually in the rally get demoralized and then eventually probably make a mistake by putting a forehand into the net. And maybe it doesn't look amazing from Novak's point of view because he hasn't finished it off with a winner, but okay, we've seen Hubie Hurkacz sort of have a couple of sets where a couple of tiebreakers where he probably should have won. And that may also sort of make Novak's performances look not great. But I don't really remember even, Rafa and Roger at their best. There aren't many Grand Slams where they're just, there may have been one or two from Rafa at Roland Garros, where maybe 2008 springs to mind, maybe 2017. I'm just trying to think of the years he didn't drop a set there. It's kind of par for the course for me that Novak and Rafa as well, particularly at Wimbledon, come through the early rounds and then just play their best when they absolutely have to. That was a pretty long sentence there, Jack, right?
No, you covered it. You
Just
covered it all.
I mean, I said basically they often win slams without winning at their best, is what I was trying to say.
No, it's a good way of putting it, definitely. You covered the previous two matches that Novak played, Rublev and Nurkic, and yeah, there was a lot of spotty moments, but you're right. Like when push came to shove, as always, Novak played his best tennis. And, I'm sounding like a broken record. Every year at Wimbledon, it's the same thing from Novak, but that's what he does. And I don't see any reason that it should be different today. Most likely, Sinner gives it a good effort, but Djokovic will be a bit too much. It's all down to the serve, I think, John. It doesn't even have to be from the back of the court. Just those points that come and go in the blink of an eye. You don't really think about them, but those are the ones that Novak will sort of tally up over and over again, where Sinner is probably going to have a lot more work to do in his own service games. This will be telling this first service game, though, as the Italian got the improvements to his serve to make an impact here.
He's actually got a couple more aces in the tournament than Novak, which is, not the most telling statistic, but it is indicative of what a lot of people have been saying about improvements on his serve. What is the score on your screen, by the way?
It is now just 15 love. Love 15, okay. Sorry, love 15.
Love 15, okay, good. Yeah, it's just gone love 15. I think I'm about 5 or 10 seconds behind you. I'm just going to try and get a scoreboard up that is representative, and then I'll just disappear for a few minutes while I tend to something in the kitchen. Jannik Sinner is his name.
Big serve from Sinner out wide. There's the first unreturnable of the match for Sinner, 128 out wide. Pretty big, a little bit more pop than last year. At the same time, Sinner's serve, I mean, a lot of people will be aware of this. Some people might not know what I'm talking about. Apologies if this is a little technical. But he's changed his serving stance from pinpoint to platform and back to pinpoint again. I mean, most people will agree with me and probably think that just sounds like he's not sure of it, right? He's trying to make changes that, I don't know, aren't really having much of an impact. He's just a little bit uncertain on his delivery. It feels like he's still trying to find the perfect serve and he's not quite there yet. So I would expect the performance to go similarly to last year. I've not seen enough evidence that says to me Jannik Sinner's serve is miles better than it was last year. So as he slams down an ace, wow, no. It was late. Sorry, never mind. It's a squeaky chair. I'm going to change my chairs. John, just give me a second.
Yeah, sure.
Not liking this one.
No problem. So I have Jannik Sinner serving at 30-15. He goes down the tee. Forehand, though, from Jannik is into the net. That's 2 or 3 forehands we've seen from him a bit loose already in this match. And it's 30 all on the Sinner serve.
There we go. Much less squeaky. 30 all already. There was danger on the Novak serve, though. So
yeah, there was. But there's probably going to be a bit of danger here, too, on the Sinner serve.
I'll be interested to see how he plays from the deuce side in particular, or serves from the deuce side, I should say. If he can hit the sliding serve out wide, then I'll eat my words. But I don't think he's going to be hitting that often. So there we go. He served down the tee there. Novak gets it back into play. It was nowhere near good enough spot serving wise. And the rally extended. And Sinner hit an unforced error. And now it's 30-40.
All right, I'll be back in a second.
Okay. I'll talk you through this point then, guys. He should be better from the ad side statistically. He is. Statistically, he's decent under pressure. Statistics, though, only get you so far. And he misses a first serve. And now has second serve break point immediately at the start of this match. Novak's not had many quick starts in this tournament. Will this be one of them? Good backhand return to find the Sinner backhand. Great forehand from Novak. Enough to force the error. Novak to love. Let's not count Jannik out. I know he's down immediately. I'm saying all this, but the problem is that Novak Djokovic in Grand Slam semi-finals, it is an absolute joke. I think historically the round that has tended to be a bit of an issue, and it was here as well, is the fourth round, and that was who'd be her catch this tournament, and it was a little difficult to live with his serve and etc. etc. By the time Novak reaches the semis nowadays, he's just so difficult to play. This is looking like a perfect point from Novak. Oh, good pass though from Jannik. That's the kind of danger you get when you come in to the Jannik Sinner backhand. That is not an Andrei Rublev shot. That's the difference between the two players. No, Rublev makes that shot 3 times out of 10. Sinner makes it 6 out of 10. That it's just got so much more rotation. It's a lot more flicky. It's a beautiful shot, actually. It's very good. Love 15 on the Novak Djokovic serve. Big serve out wide. Jannik gets it back into play. Djokovic immediately down the line. Not enough to force the error. Sinner slice. Can't keep it into play. Do we know much about the Sinner slice? I have not seen him use it that often. I've seen him use it a little bit in previous Wimbledon matches, but it's not a staple of the Sinner game, I would say. It's not something that I would say is a weapon of his. Could have been quite useful. You get players like Fusovic that should be able to trouble Novak with that sort of shot. But Sinner, nah, not so much. 15-all, second serve. Let's look up that Djokovic stat while we're waiting for Djokovic to serve after 15 bounces. Great second serve out wide. That's the kind of stuff, again. So if you are watching, you'll know exactly what I mean, but I'll try and explain it. Novak Djokovic's ability to go into his opponent's forehand on the second serve, potentially unrivaled for his height, I would say. It's very difficult to keep your opponent at bay with sliding serves like that. It's a serve that you hit without kick, without topspin. And Djokovic is one of the best in the world at mitigating that risk and going into the forehand with just enough pace. He is very underrated. Very underrated. So that was a big point there. 30-15 here. Djokovic with a great forehand down the line, gets the short ball. Oh, it's not short, sorry, but slower ball. And wins the extended rally. Right, let's look up that semi-final stat. As we come into 40-15 here, 2-love. I'll just wait for Djokovic to finish this point. Here we go. Djokovic starting the point. First serve out wide. Misses it. Second serve. I got that stat primed and ready. Primed and ready for after Novak or Sinner come through this service game. Great second down the tee. Of course, Sinner with a great return. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. Early returns on the backhand. He will be very good at that shot. This is why Djokovic as well needs to go into the Sinner forehand quite a lot in the second serve. Sinner's control of the backhand return is beautiful. It's good on both sides actually, but the backhand in particular. 40-30. Djokovic game point. First serve here. First serve out wide. Sinner just gets a racket on it. It's going to go really short. It didn't quite get over the net. So lovely start for Novak Djokovic and his fans. 3-love up in the Wimbledon semi-finals. Let's give you those stats, Here's John. John's back as well, but here's the stats. If I count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 of his last 22 semi-finals.
Okay. Semi-finals in all tournaments, all big tournaments for Novak, or
slams, just slams.
Slams. Oh,
just
wow.
slams. I know, yes. Like Jesus.
I didn't realize it was that impressive. I think I said he'd lost one in recent years because I couldn't remember what the exact stat was. And of course, the one he lost was
Domi Thiem at the French Open.
Yeah.
However, I think that's an oddity, and it was very impressive for a team to win that. But if you keep going back, the one before that was Nishikori at the US Open in 2014. So over the last 9 years, Thiem is the only guy to beat him in a semi-final of a slam.
Yeah.
Those sort of stats just make your eyes water. I mean, it's insane. It's insane.
I mean, possibly it's the most insane of all the insane stats that he has. I mean, to win that many, because you're going to be playing a Grand Slam semi-final against Jannik Sinner, Dominic Thiem, Rafa Nadal, Roger Federer, Kei Nishikori, as you suggested from yesteryear. But these are the kinds of guys you're playing in Stefanos Tsitsipas. Yeah.
That's 2 Federer semi-finals. Andy's in there. Rafa's in there twice. Tsitsipas in there. Yeah, Shapovalov, Zverev, Norrie, Paul, Gasquet, Cilic, Monfils. Oof, it's mad.
Yeah. And people might think of Monfils and Cilic in the last sort of few years, but these are those players in their pomp. And I know you can also look at maybe Tommy Paul this year, for example, in Australia, but I do think, of course, there are easier semi-finals than others. But if the guy you're playing on the other side of the net has won 5 matches over the best of 5 in that tournament, on that court, for example, or on similar courts, he must be playing pretty well. There's a moment, and there's a reason that they're in the semi-final.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Djokovic has shown us right now immediately, pressure in his service game, pressure in Sinner's service game. Who wins the bigger points?
Yeah,
it's most of the time what it comes down to. But yeah, I mean, I was saying that while you were away, John. Take a look at some of the points that go on in between, like Djokovic getting an unreturned serve on second serve, stuff like that. That's massive. That's massive. You won't see Sinner do that the whole match. Not because Djokovic's returning is insane, which it is, but more because Sinner's second serving isn't anywhere near as competent as the serves.
Yeah.
So small differences like that. By the way, John, I'm on the doubles for some reason. I haven't asked for this. I don't know what's happened.
You mean doubles has just suddenly come up on your screen?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. That sort of thing happens to me a lot. I just don't tell the audience.
Fair.
Honestly, it's been really annoying. Probably more so on Sky, but it is partly my fault because there's certain other buttons that I didn't realize existed, which meant I could have stayed exclusively. But still, they did catch me by surprise sometimes, especially at the beginning of a next set where they would just disappear. And go to a studio and then wouldn't return to the match until it was one game all, Yeah,
that is annoying. So I've missed what's happened in the Sinner game. I don't know.
So anyway, I can tell you that 40-15 on the Jannik serve. He was actually at 40 love with some really good serving. And what I do like is the fact, it's a really good forehand winner with a very low net clearance there from Jannik. Let me know when you got it back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, great. Because I'm actually going to disappear to the kitchen. But a really comfortable hold. And what I was going to say is just something I am liking is that, that's a really important, comfortable hold because you get broken there and the set's gone, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. It's one of those ones that can be very demoralizing if you're down a double break. Immediately, it's quite hard to gather your thoughts. So, yeah, massive for Sinner to hold there. I didn't see the serving. I'll break that down a little bit more as we get into it. Again, I'm looking for that sliding serve in the juice court. Can he hit that one? That's the one I'm looking for. I don't think he can. I think that's why Novak has the advantage in this matchup in terms of serving. Novak with his own sliding serve there at 15 love. To go up 15 love. It's a pretty good start from Novak, isn't it? I love watching him. I don't know how you guys feel in the comments. I quite like hearing both sides of the argument. Do you hate watching Novak? Do you like watching Novak? Is he a deplorable person? Is he a lovely person? I like the debate. Because I've not got any stakes in it, to be fair. I'm not a Novak fan. But I do like watching him. Second serve to the Sinner backhand. Djokovic's forehand doing some damage, but Sinner a little too big there. Cross court, 15-0. Who wins the battle of the forehands? That's something that's going to be very fascinating as we go deeper into this match because Sinner's forehand is absolute money. It's very, very nice. It's incredibly big. It's one of the biggest in the game. He has no problems gripping it and ripping it from any position in the court. So, I mean, Novak's forehand also goes a little underrated. It's very nice too. Oh, see, there we go. Sinner turns it around with his own forehand genius there. Oh, he's left it open. No, Jannik. Oh, that one hurt a little bit. That's the kind of point the Sinner shouldn't be losing. I mean, when you turn the point around with that massive a forehand, apologies if you guys are behind, by the way. When you turn the point around with that kind of massive a forehand, you need to come into the net with something a little bit better than that. He tried to go back behind, didn't quite work. Liked the vision, didn't quite execute. Beautiful forehands from Sinner out the gates, though. I love watching this guy. Big serve out wide from Novak. Enough. Sorry, second serve. Not the best line caller. We even had the line judge's view as well, and I still got it wrong. Second serve, here we go. A lot of bounces from Novak. Does he go to the Sinner forehand? He does. Must be a let. And again. So element of surprise gone. Probably kicks it into the backhand here to get the point started. Here we go. Novak second serve to the Sinner. I'm totally lost. That must have been 2 lets in a row. Sorry. Another second serve. Sinner's literally had to sustain like 40 ball bounces before he touches a ball here. Here we go. Sinner forehand. Gets him slightly up in the point, but he gives away the advantage by going down the middle. Sinner still with the forehand advantage though. Djokovic with a lovely one down the line. Slices it now, so they're at neutral, but he misses the slice. So it's 30-all. Well, so touching on what I said earlier about who wins the forehand battle in terms of the whole tournament, in terms of what we've seen so far, taking all of that into account, I would say Sinner's got the advantage. It's a big, big shot. So if Sinner can find a way to get himself more forehands, perfect. That's why he needs that sliding serve in the juice court. Set it up with a forehand as the second shot. Anyway, 30-all, big serve down the tee from Novak, enough to set up a forehand of his own. Backhands though, he's lost the advantage. Sinner goes up the line, goes cross court with the backhand. Djokovic defends. Beautiful Forza from Jannik Sinner. Big backhand down the line. Let's keep this competitive. Good stuff. Again, okay, Andre Rublev. I'm not going to diss Rublev too much, but it's because of John's comparison, I got to say it. That backhand's not one that Rublev hits in his sleep. Where Sinner, he's got a lot of control in that one. A lot of control. Here we go, 30-40. Where does Novak Djokovic go? And where does he go if he misses the first serve, which he has? Do we see the sliding serve down the tee to attack Jannik Sinner's forehand? Be brave, be bold, Novak, come on. Here we go. He doesn't. He goes very slow to the Jannik Sinner backhand. Jannik gets the initial. Oh, that's so good from Novak. That's so good. This guy must be so frustrating. It must be so frustrating. Like Jannik Sinner's done so well there. He's hit a phenomenal backhand down the line. Djokovic somehow spins it back into play with his forehand, and Jannik misses the following shot. Frustrating, John, eh?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to get Damien's 60-second clip up during the changeover. Cool. Just so I've not misquoted him, but I'm sure he mentioned Rublev, and we'll get him anyway. We'll get him. He's in deepest, darkest Poland right now, watching a challenger.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
Last week he was at a darts tournament, last weekend.
Really?
Yeah, somewhere else in deepest, darkest Poland. Yeah, he was at a darts thing. I guess it's the biggest darts event in Poland.
Right?
Yeah.
I actually quite like darts nowadays. I hate that my friends have got me into it, but I understand why Damien likes it. Big serve down the tee from Novak. Do you want to get that clip up, John?
Yep, he's held.
Dark chocolate.
Yeah, go get some dark chocolate while I find this clip.
Cool.
Go on. So I'm going to get you this clip up, ladies and gentlemen, so we don't misquote our good friend Damien.
Starting, I am
went to 5 sets at Wimbledon.
Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome from Bytom. So my prediction for the Djokovic-Sinner semi, I mean, it should be fairly obvious, right? There's a lot of linear power coming at Djokovic, just like in the Rublev matchup, and he's like the best in the whole world at handling it. I know it went to 5 sets at Wimbledon last year, but all of the sets that Djokovic won were super lopsided. He got the early break in every single one of them, and it never really felt like Sinner was that close to winning. I don't think he's clean enough at the net to win this one. And Medvedev Alcaraz, I have to go with Carlos because he just seems to have a big matchup edge. In Indian Wells, he was serve volleying out wide to practically half the time, and it was such an efficient tactic. I don't really see how Medvedev really battles it. He also moves him up and down the court the way other players cannot. So I think he's got a pretty big edge there. And of course, Medvedev is likely to snatch a set, but kind of unlikely to win. See ya.
I hope Jack heard that, but I will repeat it a bit more closely. Jack, did you? I guess you didn't hear what he said.
No, I didn't. What did they say?
He said linear shots is the line. I can play it again because it will only take about 5 seconds to
Go.
to do it. So because I do want you to hear. Novak is obviously comfortable in the match. Give me a second, Jack.
The semi-
Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome from Bytom. So my prediction for the Djokovic-Sinner semi, I mean, it should be fairly obvious, right? There's a lot of linear power coming at Djokovic, just like in the Rublev matchup, and he's like the best in the whole world at handling it. I know.
So did you get that?
I did, but I'm going to disagree slightly with Damien. I get what he's saying, but I do think that Jannik is able to open up the court a little bit better than Rublev. I think particularly in the backhand, he can definitely get it a bit wider. Like, it doesn't really matter that much, honestly. When it gets to an extended rally, Novak's going to defend regardless where he is in the court. It's going to come down to how many 3 points are they winning in between. And I think Novak wins that battle 9 times out of 10. His serve's just way better than Jannik's. I think that's what it comes down to on a grass court. I'm sorry, but anyway, I still think I would say, Damien, linear power is a bit unfair for Jannik, but I still don't think it'll make much of a difference.
Anyway, he's got 3 game points right now. Second serve for Novak to look at.
Sorry, I'm eating a nectarine now as well. I've got dark chocolate too, but
I've got some fake fish fingers. What do I mean by fake?
Fingers?
Yeah, vegan ones. I'm not vegan, but occasionally I dip into the vegan world.
Is it like fish, like PHISH?
Oh, could be. And is that a brand?
That's a brand. Yep.
Okay, so probably not then. But okay. But I guess it's the equivalent of. It's okay. I mean, the reason I'm okay with it is there's some vegan stuff that I still think needs some improvement. I've bought vegan bacon in the past. Doesn't do it.
So I guess, have you gone vegan, gluten-free after you got 6'2" the other day, John?
Trying to go Novak-esque.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think that'll help. I don't think that'll help much. Novak looks like he's gone long on a forehand, so it could be love 15 here.
Yeah, it's challenging.
I think if I'm right, how many times is this Novak's third or fourth service game? Fourth, I think. And Sinner's been in 2 of them, right?
He has. He's had a break point in 2 of them, right? So
he has. In fact, so he's had 3 break points in the match.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. So no reason, you can't keep pressuring. Again, I don't think Novak's at that level yet in the last 3 sets of last year. He's still not there, and the fact he's up in the set, poor from Jannik Sinner's point of view. He should have capitalised on a couple. I'm pretty sure he got the serve back on both the break points. So. Big serve down the tee, by the way, just to win him. A nice little cheap, easy 3 point at 4-2, and he's now 15 love.
Djokovic, I guess, challenged that previous point. I missed it. And obviously got it right. I thought it didn't look that long to me. Anyway, either way, 15 love, Novak.
In the chat, Ghost of James Hunt. Is this
It's the same ghosty, yeah.
It's the
He's
same
changed
ghost.
his name.
I see. Reincarnated.
Mm-hmm.
Big from Jannik there. I actually missed the shot, John. So if you could tell me what happened, possibly.
Yeah, so Novak comes into the net, does one of those sort of crouch down, nice volleys, but actually Sinner's alert to it and chases it down, and then still has a bit of work to do with a forehand winner down the line. But it's the kind of one that if you do hit it long, then you're very disappointed. And he got it in. Hopefully I described that quite well. But it's 15-all.
You did. I assume the shot he had to hit was from down pretty low, so it must have been quite a tough one.
It was, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't easy, and he got the top spin he needed on it, in other words, to keep it in, because sometimes you just don't do that and you end up hitting it long. Anyway, 15-all, Novak on the backhand, clips the net, so he gets a fortunate net cord there, and it does basically aid him to win the point, 30-15.
Novak and his dirty tactics, of course. I'm not going to slander him.
Wait till we get Abby G in the live chat.
I know, exactly. 30-15. This is one of those points where, 30-all or 40-15. It's a pretty big point. Obviously, every point's big. You know what I mean. But Djokovic taking his time on the second serve anyway. Again, I find it fascinating to see if he goes into the forehand frequently on this side, because this is what he does. He serves into the forehand very often. But I think there we go. Yes, he's going for the backhand. I think he respects Sinner's forehand return. Big extended rally here, going backhands cross. Novak goes inside out with a forehand. Sinner big on the backhand though, trying to get some advantage with the forehand. He's getting a couple in a row, and a third in a row. He does go big in the third, but it doesn't quite get over the net. Jannik making a motion there, as though he's Bambi on ice. I think he's finding the courts a little slippy.
Mm-hmm. He fell over in the first point of the match, I think.
I saw that. Yes.
He wasn't happy.
I saw that. Slander away, says Terry. only. I don't want to get done with libel. Only truth. Only true slander. He's not a guy that cheats. Anyway, I'll say that much about him.
Mm-hmm.
Very good sportsman. Sometimes gets overlooked amidst all the Roger and Rafa fandom. Right? He's nice on the court. I think. Obviously, he throws his racket every so. Oh, actually. He throws his racket every so often, I guess. But apart from that, I would say he's generally a pretty good sportsman. Damien's reports from deepest, darkest Poland need to be a member's perk. Definitely. I would say so too.
Okay. Next time I'll get it as a member's perk.
Sorry, I timed my dark chocolate bite wrong there, John. What do you think? What do you think so far? Sinner got a chance?
I mean, the problem, as you highlighted, is Novak is nowhere near his best, and yet he's a break-up. I also think Jannik is a bit disappointed, though, and I think you can see that. He does have high expectations of himself. He has seen that this is a set that he could have won and maybe should be winning, because he's not taken advantage of Novak's sloppiness, and he's also frustrated with the court. But, I was in the kitchen, funny enough, and I just sort of heard the fact that Novak had broken. And I was like, my goodness me. Even this early on, going a breakdown to Novak in the first game of the match. I mean, sometimes it can be pivotal. I mean, I actually think that getting broken so early, I think Novak got broken maybe in the first game. Was it against Daniil Medvedev in 2021 in that US Open final? I could be wrong on that one.
No, you're right. You're right.
It was the opening game, and it set the tone for the rest of the match.
That's what tends to happen. I'd love to see the stats on, how often does the person who gets the first break go on to win the match? Because it'll be pretty frequent.
I mean, obviously that Medvedev Novak match was special in so many ways, and there probably wasn't a clear favourite. I think there was arguments that both could go on and win that match. The only difference is when it's like, if it's Novak round one, centre court, or Albert Park. When you're an overwhelming favourite and you go down a break, it's like nothing to worry about. Do you know what I mean? It's when it's tight, or even more significantly, when there is a warm favourite, such as today.
Yeah. Lovely point from Djokovic there, by the way. And Ghost, it should be mumbling tennis, is what it should be, not tennis mumble. So close.
Oh, I can see Isabel.
Oh yeah,
She's come
there
to
she
join
is.
the breakfast party.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. How you doing?
Sorry I'm a bit late to the match. When it started, it was still dark outside.
Don't worry, Yannick's a bit late too.
I can tell, yes. And I also have breakfast here.
I mean, I'm calling it breakfast, but you see how I switched time zones for you there, Isabel? Very considerate of me that I went from lunch to breakfast just like that.
True. So I missed most of this first set, but it doesn't really look like I missed much.
Not loads. Yannick he got broken the first game of the match, his first service game even, and he's kind of been playing catch up the whole time. He's had a few break points on Novak's serve, but Novak did Novak things. It came back into play. He didn't miss, and Sinner did.
A few slips.
Am I wrong in thinking last year they played 5 sets, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Novak won the first 2.
Yannick.
Sinner won the first 2, sorry, and then Novak won the last 3.
Yeah.
The other thing you've missed, Isabel, is basically Jack and I taking it in turns to have a mouthful, and then one of us asks the other one a question, and we sort of respond with a mouthful of food. So you've missed a lot of highly entertaining stuff. One point, Jack said, "I'm going to get a piece of dark chocolate," and I was like, "Okay, fine." Comes back. The next thing I know, he's eating a nectarine. So
Well, I've got dark chocolate. I've got dark chocolate as well. I just came back with both.
Jack is always eating.
I noticed that. He's a nibbler, certainly. He's a nibbler.
Yes.
I noticed that at Wimbledon. In between swigs of red wine from a bottle, he managed to squeeze in a few nibbles.
It was nice red wine. What can I say? It went well with the cheese.
Didn't you have a bottle of red wine when we went last year too?
I did. Yeah, I did. It's my drink of choice for Wimbledon. Went very well with Mira and Riva's match. It's fantastic.
So Novak is 7 for the set. I'll just go backstage and let you enjoy.
Cool. Yeah, so Sinner was able to hold there. Quite an easy hold to 15. Novak trying to close out this one, but loses the first point after another kind of slip, kind of off-balancey looking shot, similar to the Del Potro match. I don't know if anybody's seen that, where Djokovic is like doing all this kind of crazy Bambi stuff. Yeah, interesting. The courts are a little bit funny underfoot. What are you watching on today, Isabel?
I've got a little split screen here. ESPN, as usual. This is the only match I'll get to see today. I'm afraid I won't be able to watch the second semifinal, which I'm sure is going to be much more interesting than this one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out there and say Medvedev's gonna win, but I would definitely say he's got a very, very. I honestly think it's like 55-45%.
Yeah.
People keep kind of writing him off, but there's no way it's going to be that easy.
Well, I don't think either of those players are dominant on this surface. So, yeah,
no,
I think it could go either way. I mean, Alcaraz maybe has the edge, but I don't know that Medvedev will beat it. Will lose that easily to him.
Yeah, I think my kind of thinking. I mean, it's kind of early in Alcaraz's career. We're not 100% sure if he's good on grass, if he's okay on grass. But I think his serve's still a little weak compared to the other guys on tour. Medvedev is good enough compared to Indian Wells that he doesn't just get blown off the court. I think he's going to rattle through service games fairly easily. I literally was just like I must have been talking for like 30 seconds, by the way, and Novak's just closed out that set. He went very quickly, a bunch of unreturnable serves. That first set is 6-3 to Novak Djokovic, the 4-time defending champion or whatever it is. Finishing that train of thought.
It's like 7 or 8, isn't it?
4-time defending champion, but he's won 7.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So he's won 4 in a row. Yeah, he's won every stat in the book there, apart from double faults, which he ties Jannik for with 0. Sinner hit more winners, actually. That's not surprising. I was saying that at the start. His forehand definitely does look better than Novak's out of the gate. But it's all going to come down to serves, I think, Isabel. And Djokovic is the serving king at Wimbledon. What was I saying about Medvedev? I pretty much just said it's not going to go ahead did it in Indian Wells. Alcaraz literally had every trick in the book to beat Medvedev there, drop shots, serving volleys, etc. But when the courts are a little faster and the serves are coming flying at him, I think Medvedev hit 0 aces in that match. So the chance of that happening again, just literally about 0%. So I think Alcaraz wins in 5 sets.
Yeah, probably. I picked Alcaraz and Djokovic for the final, but that Djokovic will probably win in 4. That was my my prediction for the final.
Likewise.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. I actually don't know. Again, for sure, like Medvedev with Alcaraz, I don't think Alcaraz has got 0 chance against Novak. He's got a big enough game that you could just blow him off the court, despite the fact it's not totally suited for grass. So
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. It's unlikely that happens, but especially given just the experience Novak has, he's not going to come out nervy or anything. There's a chance Alcaraz could cause some problems. However, I think everybody's just getting sick of Novak winning like every match. So I'll try and come up with some stats that shine a little bit more positively on Jannik Sinner's chances here, because we're currently second set. Jannik with an amazing forehand winner to open up his service game. We are at 15-love. Who have you had commentating on most of your matches, Isabel?
In the States here?
Yeah.
Chris Evert, and the Mackin brothers.
Patrick's on there as well.
Usual suspects for here.
Yeah, we've got McEnroe on some of the BBC ones as well, actually. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he must be doing a lot of work. It's not great. The commentary for the BBC has been inane. It's basically just like celebrity spotting and very little about the actual game.
That's kind of exactly what it is here.
Yeah, I thought that. The Brits, though, there's a lot of your Stephen Fry's and the King and stuff like that people just like to put on the camera. I really, it's horrible. It makes a mockery of tennis. Like, what's the point? What's the point in playing tennis if you're going to talk about celebrities? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, somehow, by the way, Djokovic has got that return back into play. Sinner hit one of the best sliding serves of the match. I was talking about that earlier. Novak got it into play, but Jannik with 2 amazing forehands. Come on, Forza, for goodness sakes. Well played. 30-15. How much have you seen of Jannik and Novak this tournament, Isabel?
I don't think I've really watched any of Novak's matches because I think, why bother? He's just going to win them. And Jannik, I can't even remember who he's played now. It's so early here.
He's had one of the easiest routes to a semi-final of
Yeah,
anybody historically.
I don't think he's played anyone Safulin maybe was the only
Even obviously
challenge he had. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll know Safulin obviously is a challenge, but just in terms of ranking, I mean he played like 4 players outside the top 80. So
he didn't really play anyone of note. I don't think I watched any of these matches. After seeing some of the score lines, like after the Schwartzman match, I saw the score and was like, I didn't need to see that.
Fair. There's been a lot of talk online about like rankings and how average ranking is the best way to determine how difficult a player's draw is. I won't mention any Twitter accounts or names, but it's absolute just malarkey. It makes no sense. Like, ranking tells you absolutely nothing. There's matchups, there's the size of weapons on different surfaces, and
look at Eubanks.
Yeah, exactly.
He was ranked what, not even in the top 80?
No, not even in the top 80. He wasn't in the, or maybe no, he was. Sorry, because of Mallorca. But literally 2 weeks ago, he would have been like 160 odd in the world. So it's a totally false argument. It's very silly.
Yeah, and he I think he easily could have made the final here.
Final.
I think during that Medvedev match, I really believed I really believe during those
Well, he coulda-
those 2 sets he won, I was like,
Yeah, he could have made the
set.
He could have made the semis, but I couldn't have seen him beating Alcaraz. I don't think. Just Alcaraz would have got too many looks in compared to the other guys, and you hit a ball hard at Alcaraz, it comes back harder. Yeah, no, just for that reason, just because I think Alcaraz would have got tons and tons of balls back into play. I don't think Eubanks would have been close to winning that semi-final. I don't want to diss Eubanks because he's been playing so well, but Alcaraz maybe a step up. That's all.
Another thing on Eubanks is like, I mean, how many Americans have been able to win over the crowd at Wimbledon the way that he has?
Like, he's so likable, isn't he? TFO, to be fair, TFO.
He beat a British player, and they're like, "We love you anyway. It's okay."
Yeah, I mean, TFO is a good example because we were down the first week, and you try and get a seat for one of TFO's matches, which are never on centre 1 or 2 generally. It's completely mobbed. There's just no chance. You have to be there like 2 hours early. The queue is huge.
Yeah,
everybody loves him.
I'm going to be at the U.S. Open this year, and I'm hoping.
So we are.
I'm hoping that I'll be able to see Chris Eubanks play because I don't think they would have him play on like Louis Armstrong or right away.
It depends who he plays.
Exactly, it depends who he plays, but like he might not in those first few rounds play the really big stadiums, so it's possible that I'll be able to get in. But I do have a ticket to the quarterfinals regardless, so hopefully if he makes it to a quarterfinal, I'll get to see him.
First drop shot I think I've seen of the match, I might be wrong, from Novak, and Sinner did get up to it with plenty of time to spare. Very nice forehand cross court there to finish off the point. Go sing. I don't want to diss. I did not diss Eubanks.
No,
I just said
diss Eubanks.
I didn't diss. I'm just a realist. I don't think he's beaten Alcaraz. He's had an amazing tournament. It is the story of the tournament for me. It's the best story so far. Maybe Jabeur, but
I don't know. You know, we've had like 2 or 3 incredible stories of this tournament that kind of take over for me, like the stories of the season. You know, you've got Eubanks, you've got Svitolina, and sure, Jabeur for, you know, getting back to the final, and then going on a revenge tour. But I think Eubanks and Svitolinas are some of the best of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a good tournament in general for that. I agree totally.
Yeah.
But I think for reasons you touched on there, Jabeur's revenge tour. Jabeur's just like come through a draw that is insane. I didn't
like
give her a
4
chance.
major champions, I think. Was that what it was?
4 major champions, and all of them, or 3 of them even, from a set down, which is just like, it's mad. She's playing so well.
Yesterday, I mean, I did not think she was going to win, and I had to leave to go to work at a certain point. So I think it was like halfway through the second set, I thought, oh man, like it's over. She's lost it. And so I turned it off and left the house. And then suddenly everyone started texting me and they were like, oh my God, Jabeur. And I was like, what's happening? So I didn't get to see that final set, but it sounded amazing.
Oh, it was so good. She returned like a dream. I've never seen a return performance like that. Well, of course I have, but you know what I mean. I've not seen a return performance like that from her, actually. I don't think I've ever seen her return better than that. So I'm going to finish this dark chocolate, Isabel. You covered us for 2 points.
Okay. So yeah, second game of this second set, Djokovic is serving. It's 30 all. Jannik hits a wild backhand way off the court. I know that, you know, I have maybe a controversial opinion on Sinner because I know that a lot of people in our sort of circle like him, but I don't. The only time I've ever seen him play impressively to me is that Alcaraz match last year.
That was so good.
Yeah,
okay.
that was like the only match where I thought, okay, like, yeah, he's really got something, because every time I see him play otherwise, you know, it's not good.
Is that in a slam or just in general?
In a slam.
Yeah,
That's
slam.
whenever I talk about tennis, I'm usually referring to slams because they don't show as many of the other tournaments.
Yeah, fair.
Here.
Because I was gonna have Sinner's back. I will just mention a few that obviously you're not alluding to, but might just interest viewers. Certainly the Sinner Alcaraz match in Miami as well. The level there was amazing. The level he played, do you know, that's bad that I can't pick other ones out of a hat. Sets the pass, I guess, in Rotterdam, we played really well there. But generally the ones that come to mind, and I think this is what you're talking about, Isabella, this is what maybe you're implying, is that a lot of these big matches he does lose. He's not a guy who beats the top 5 that frequently. The record for him against the top 5 is pretty poor. And I think most of the time it comes down to serving again. And so I'll keep talking about it because it's so true. His serve is just nowhere near as good as the other guys. And it's until he gets that fixed, I don't think he deserves to be in the top 5. I don't think he will be in the top 5. He's done well to get to the semis at Wimbledon again. I will touch on. Yeah, well, I was going to touch on that. I still think you need to beat the guy in front of you, right? So you can have an easy draw, but there's so many players who kind of squander those opportunities. You know, I'm not saying Ruble's ever had an easy draw when he's got to a quarterfinal, but I remember him losing to Cilic last year at the French Open. I remember him losing to Tiafoe at the US Open. Both those players are playing really well, but the fight he kind of put up, he will not have been very happy with those matches in the end. So again, I'm not saying he had an opportunity just to grab, but Sinner at least hasn't. He's not bad an eyelid. I mean, he's just ran through everybody that's been in front of him. I got to give him credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
Djokovic there, just managing to scrape the return back into play. He did hold, by the way. Backhand down the line is going to be enough. Yeah, no way Sinner gets that back into play. So it is love 15. Yeah, I'm going to keep talking about the juice side here. Every time Sinner loses a point in the juice court, it's one maybe that Novak could have won on his own serve. Again, it comes down to how well does Sinner pull that serve out wide compared to other players. I bet you he does not win a free point doing that for the whole match.
It's possible.
It's a huge deficit. It's massive enough to be the winner or the loser of this match, for sure. And it's something he's working on, but he's still not quite there yet. Another first serve. We are left 15, so this is a pretty big point. First serve misses it, so second serve here. Again, will Sinner be exposed here in the second serve? Double fault. Doublis faultas, and we go love 30. I forgot that. Yeah, it took me a while to process that. Isabel is so like Medvedev if he had 1.5 meters cut off of him.
And wasn't a good tennis player.
Well, you know. We'll focus on the height.
Medvedev has grown on me, but not because Jack compared my playing style to his. He's grown on me because his I don't know, his attitude on court has changed a little bit. He doesn't seem as, I don't know, petty, like keen to pick fights, that kind of thing. I mean, he did get into a bit. I was thing with the chair ump at his last match, but I saw him apologize to the chair ump after.
Yeah, he did. He did that in Australia as well with the small cat issue.
So he seems like he's sort of being like, I can't act like this anymore.
He knows he does it. He knows he shouldn't do it. But just to second serve, love 40 on the Sinner serve. Just come back for a second.
Great.
Novak does push the backhand long, so we're 15-40. Again, just no free points. No free points in the serve. Until that changes, no way. Medvedev's always had I love him. I really do like him. There was never been a point where I've not liked him. I think we kind of found out he was petty after the US Open in 2019. And I loved that. I loved that whole saga. That whole Daniel saga was like the best part of his career. It was just so entertaining.
Yeah.
Sinner goes big down the tee and he misses. So it's a second serve, 15-40. You don't expect Novak to lose 2 second serve points in a row. But Sinner takes a risk, goes pretty big wide. That's the one I'm talking about. That was a really, really big risk. Huge. So well played. He wins the point there after a net cord as well from Djokovic, but Sinner just able to control the forehand preceding that. 30-40.
I was saying to John yesterday when he asked me to be on the stream that, well, as long as the match doesn't go 3 hours, I can do it. And, you know, I really don't expect it to.
We'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Was the Eubanks one not like literally like I think just under 3 hours, and it must have been like 2 tie breaks, or no, it wasn't 2 tie breaks. Sorry,
Against
But
Medvedev
yeah. It was like so short for how long
for a
it
5-setter.
looked. Yeah,
Yeah, his points were very short, especially like once Eubanks started dominating, Medvedev just couldn't return to serve, so he just it was pretty fast, but it didn't feel fast. Like it didn't feel like 3 hours to me.
Yeah. Sinner got broken, by the way.
Yeah.
Forehand unforced error, and Djokovic is 2-1 up in the second set.
Actually, may be able to go back to bed before I have to go to work.
Oh, I hate doing that.
No, I love it.
You're gonna feel groggy.
Nah, I'm gonna feel groggy either way eventually. I mean, I got up at 6.
Fair. This one feels like I've had the air knocked out of me a little bit. I was expecting for something better than 6-3, 2-1 early doors, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's all about Alcaraz Medvedev. Anyone think Sinner could play with a little more margin? No, I don't think so, Jane. I think he has enough spin on his shots as it is. I don't think he has to overspin them any more than that. He's not trying to he is trying to redline a little bit because of the guy on the other side of the net. It's, Novak would do this to pretty much anybody. The problem is just making sure that the rally doesn't extend. Otherwise, you're probably done. There's not much chance of you winning the rally after like 5 or 6 shots. So he's just got to hit a bigger shot earlier, pretty much. And it starts with the serve, which is not looking great so far. Two 2-1. It is Djokovic to serve. Fingers crossed. Here we go. I'll talk through the first point. Maybe we'll get a little look into why Novak serves so much better than Jannik's. He goes for a body serve on purpose and he wins the point. Smart serving. Love it. 15 love. So who did you have in the women's side to win before the tournament, Isabel?
I don't think I looked at the draw too much. I missed our tennis league picks thing, whatever. So I didn't do that, but I was hoping for Rybakina again. And when I realized she would play Jabeur, I thought, okay, like might not happen then, might not make it to the final. And then after Svitolina won her 4th round, I was excited and thinking like maybe she could get to the final. Like I've always wanted her to see her in a final. So I was sort of rooting for her after that. But obviously yesterday's match was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, she was a little bit knackered by the looks of it. I think fair enough. You would expect her body to maybe break down after a while.
Yeah, after 2 massive
I was going to say
massive matches.
Exactly, and I'm honestly surprised it wasn't earlier, to be honest. So, I mean, she did amazingly to get to the semi-finals.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was a quarter-final at the French Open as well. Her comeback has just been
so good.
Amazing.
So good. And she's a totally different player now than I've ever seen her before. And I know everyone's been saying that.
Yeah.
Oh, Djokovic looks pissed about something.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's happened here. I think he maybe heard an out call and then didn't play it because of that, maybe. Hindrance. Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah, he yelled pretty loudly after hitting. hitting a backhand, and the chair immediately called hindrance.
I'm going to watch it back. Let's decide. I've never seen Novak being done for hindrance before, so this will be interesting.
And I mean, it was loud, but like not. I wouldn't call that a hindrance. Like, he had to run for his shot.
Yeah, what a nerve, though. I am watching it back. Have you just seen it, Isabel?
Yeah.
The grunt was so late. He hit it like about a full 2 seconds after he hit the ball.
Really? It sounded...
I think maybe fair enough. It was a very late grunt.
Okay.
I've never seen him do that before.
I've never seen that call before. I didn't even know that was a call.
Yeah, I've seen it with a few players. I've seen Lorenzo Sonego not done for it in the same situation, and Rafa was like raging about it. It was a little bit odd. I've never seen Novak do anything like that. Go on, Isabel.
Rafa was upset about Sonego making noise. Rafa was.
Yeah.
How much noise do you have to make Rafa be like, it's too noisy? You can't do
I know,
that.
I know. Exactly. Sonego's was a little bit of a joke, to be fair. So Novak went down 15-30 there. Did manage to save the next point with a backhand plumb on the sideline, enough to force a cross-court backhand error from Sinner. So we are at 30-all. He might not have won that point anyway, the one he did 100, so... Still, 30-all at the moment. Big point in the juice court. Where does Djokovic go? Tries to go down the tee. Second serve now.
Yeah, even calls like that, like you can't shake Djokovic very easily. Oh, wow, this point.
Am I a little behind?
Probably.
Is that the 30-all point?
No.
Okay. I'm definitely a bit ahead then. So we've got a second serve wide. It's a lovely one to Sinner's forehand. Djokovic plays a drop shot. Oh, Sinner gets it back. No way Sinner gets that. Yeah, he doesn't. That's a Djoko special there. Really nice drop shot, playing it with finesse now. Jabeur-esque. 40-30, sorry. Am I quite a bit ahead then, Isabel? Shall I go back?
No, I think I'm ahead by about 10 seconds.
Do you see the point that I described then?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Okay, I'll keep going from where I have to. I can't go forward anymore.
Yeah.
Here we go. Djoko with a wide serve is called out. So second serve. Or was it a let? You can never really tell.
It was a let.
Yeah, or you can tell actually because the speedometer goes black when it's a let. First serve then. Novak goes wide again, misses it though. Second serve. Does he go into the center forehand again? I'm going to say yes. I think he does. You'll already know, Isabel. Novak with a second serve to the center forehand. Sinner gets it back into play. Backhand's cross court now. Novak gets the first aggressive backhand. Sinner replies with a deep backhand of his own. Novak with the first forehand of the rally. Sinner with a lovely backhand down the line. That is juicy. Juice. We were talking about the comparisons between Rublev and Sinner earlier, Isabel. That's not particularly Rublev, right? You wouldn't see him hit backhands down the line like that. Nah.
No.
Poor Andre.
Yeah. Are we ever going to see him in a semi?
It's getting rough, isn't it? 0 for 7.
Quarters curse.
Poor guy.
He just, and you know what it is? Like, how many of those times has he gotten to the quarters and met Djokovic?
Yeah, well, I do know. To be fair, I think it maybe it's just 2. It might just be 2. But, I mean, 2 is still quite a lot. I'm sure one of them's been Medvedev, one of them's been Steph. Then you've got Tiafoe and Cilic. And then there's one I'm forgetting about. Might be another Medvedev. Oh, Djokovic goes big down the line with his forehand, and it is advantage Sinner. Another breakpoint opportunity. The third game where he's had a breakpoint. Hasn't converted in the previous 2 games. Novak with not a particularly good first serving performance this game. So it'll be interesting to see if he can put this into play here.
If he gets this break, is it going to help him at all?
Yeah, I think so. He's hitting big enough that the momentum might help him a bit. Big forehand cross from Novak. It's down the middle now. Oh, lovely backhand from Sinner. Can Novak defend? Yes, Sinner should have went bigger on that forehand. Forehand's cross now. Sinner goes big early though. Novak somehow gets that into play. No! Jannik! Jannik! Oh, these kind of points hurt.
Yeah.
Oh. Jannik plays a perfect point up until he
loses.
Yeah, up until he loses the point. Oh, that hurts. The backhand that Djokovic got back into play had absolutely nothing on it. Sinner had a pretty much not open court, but certainly a big enough space that he could have won the point from there. So we're at deuce. I see big chance there, Nick. You're quite right. Those are the kind of chances that just say Sinner is like a top 10 player and not a top 5 player. I mean, come on. You got to make that forehand. You gotta. Isabel, you've got the sound on. Do you know what's going on here?
Let me see.
Or maybe you don't have the sound on, but...
I don't think anything's going on.
Oh, time violation.
Oh, I missed that.
Umpire's going after him. Must be a time violation warning, I would assume.
Yeah.
First serve, Novak down the tee. Sinner gets it back into play. Djokovic with a near perfect forehand. Oh, he's got a Djoko smash. Doesn't mess it up though. First Djoko smash of the match. This is rough. This is rough to watch, I gotta say. That's funny from Francesco Depresso. It's probably true. Although that would mean Sinner would have to win a tiebreak set. And we've not seen Novak lose a tiebreak since Banja Luka in May. So, unlikely to happen. Advantage Novak. Big rally. Here we go. Novak trading neutral with Sinner. Sinner nets a nothing backhand. And it's 3-1 to Novak Djokovic. I know that was before the match, John. That's funny. 3-1 Sinner. 3-1 Djokovic, I should say, sorry. Not looking great. Facts coming up on the screen. Novak Djokovic won his 353rd Grand Slam match on Tuesday. Third to Federer and what was that? Second to Serena Williams? Second to... That doesn't make sense. But Serena Williams and Federer in front of him.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously don't want Djokovic to equal Federer's record here, but because then I just have no sound argument anymore against Djokovic fans.
You can still just say he's the greatest and not
but like
logic.
But it was my last look, he's still got more Wimbledons than everyone.
He's got more titles than Novak.
In total.
In total, not well, and Wimbledon. Obviously, you're right, but titles
not
overall as well.
long.
not for long, no.
Yeah, but I mean the Djoko fans, I mean, I'm not trying to provoke them on here, obviously, because support your man, it's totally cool, but they really only care about Grand Slam titles.
And you don't want death threats and
I don't need to do that again.
Yeah,
so I'm not insulting your man, but they seem to only care about Grand Slam titles.
I like treading the water between insulting Novak and showering him with praise just to confuse Novak fans.
The only time I've ever supported Novak was at last year's final. If you can even call that supporting.
Who was he against? Oh yes, of course.
Kyrgios.
Yes. Of course. That makes
Which
sense.
I will say again, I called that. I called it.
Well,
You
Kyrgios
were-
in the
you
final.
were you were witness to it. You were there, and I said Kyrgios is going to be in the final.
He
No
did
one
say it.
believed me.
He did say it. He fortunately hasn't been in the draw this year. We didn't get to see him defend his finalist position. How did you feel about that, Isabel?
I didn't really miss him.
Didn't really miss him.
I didn't even notice he was gone.
He was meant to be against David Goffin.
Pardon?
He was meant to be against David Goffin, and then he withdrew.
Didn't Eubanks get in because he withdrew, or was that wrong?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't because of that. He was already in the draw. He was in the top 100 Eubanks when they made the draw, so he did get direct entry. Huge backhand return from Novak, by the way, in this game. Not enough to win him the point, though. Novak with a weird backhand, so they are 40-15 in Sinner's game at the moment. Sinner hanging on by a thread. I would say Sinner's not out of this set yet. I don't think he is. He's been playing pretty well. I don't think Novak's been playing great. He's just had the odd break point where Sinner, or where he's locked down, he's done his usual Novak thing. You know, he's locked down, he's not made any mistakes. I would guess all 4 break points have been won with Sinner unforced errors. I can remember 2 of them, or 3 of them at least. So it's just been a very typical Novak Djokovic semi-final. 3-2. Novak Djokovic doesn't get the break there. Sinner gets the hold. So he's still in this. How have you felt about Novak this season, Isabel? Are you happy to see him winning Australia, French Open, potentially winning at Wimbledon?
Of course not. Of course not.
No appreciation for the records and the just phenomenal.
Well, it just sort of feels. It feels old hat at this point, you know. Like every time he gets into the draw, it's kind of like, all right, yeah, Djokovic is going to take it. There's nobody here that could really challenge him. So it's not very exciting for me because it's just kind of like everything's happening like it always does.
Yeah. I liked the way somebody put it. Maybe it was Vanch. I can't remember. Probably not. This is quite an opinionated one for Vanch. Vanch would normally just go stats. Somebody said it's kind of a win-win if Djokovic wins the calendar slam this year, because if he does win it, he probably will. Will he rest in his laurels though? They made the argument he'll probably just, be unmotivated at that point. He's done everything you need to do in tennis. He will have the Olympics next year, so I know for a fact he'll hang on till then. But at the very least, he might at least retire early, and then all the Djokovic haters can be happy with the fact he's not on the tour. I don't know. I would like him to win the calendar slam, not for those reasons, Isabel, but it's a good argument. It's just an insane record. It's an insane record. If he can win it, I would just be flabbergasted that somebody has done it. Not the fact it's Novak, but that somebody's done it.
Yeah. I don't know that he would retire after doing that.
No, I don't think so either.
I have the feeling he's going to, go until the wheels fall off. He's going to play until he's so grievously injured that his team has to have an intervention with him. I think that's how hard-headed he is about it.
An intervention to stop playing tennis.
That's what I imagine would happen. Obviously it's hyperbole, but I think he's gonna play until there's absolutely no way that he can.
Until he breaks triple digits in slams.
Sure, until he gets 40. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he doesn't get to see his family. They obviously travel with him. I don't think he has a lot of things that he really wants to do apart from this.
Yeah.
So
Olympics definitely comes to mind as well. That's the main motivator, I think, for next year. Djokovic, by the way, with a little bit of danger there at love 15, but he hits a good enough serve out wide to go 15-0 and remains in a decent position to stay unbroken for the entirety of the match so far. Sinner, by the way, one of the best returners in the game. Just keep that in mind. And Djokovic making it look easy on the big points. Big forehand there. I think Sinner's missed the follow-up. He has. So Djokovic is now 30-15 up in this service game. I don't think it's a definite he wins the Olympics next. Keep in mind it's on it's at Roland Garros. Maybe a certain Spaniard will be there to win 2 on the bounce. Who knows? I'm sure he loves an Olympic gold. Djokovic not so much. So who knows?
I don't know. I think he would want it. I mean, do you remember what happened at the Olympics last time when he lost?
Yeah, he wanted it. He wanted it too badly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was almost like he definitely played worse in that match against. Was it Kachanov? No, it was Zverev. Zverev he lost to. Zverev did play well, to be fair. But Novak, yeah, didn't quite turn up. So he's always had a problem with nerves at the Olympics. He could again. We'll see.
But it'll be where is it? Paris?
Paris. Yeah, it's in Paris.
I think it'll be fine.
Novak, again, with one of those points that will just go under the radar. Huge first serve out wide. At 30-all, enough to immediately force an error from Jannik Sinner's forehand. So it's 40-30 now. So instead of break point, serve, wham, bam, and he's in a decent position to win the game now. What is this news? I'll say this in between the change of ends. But first, second serve from Novak 40-30. It's not that cool, but it's quite cool. I'll say in a second. Second serve from Novak here. Lovely second serve down the tee to attack the Sinner forehand. Sinner goes huge down the line. Big enough just to win the point instantly. That's lovely. It was just Feliciano Lopez is going to be in Edinburgh on the 28th of September. So any Scots, he'll be at a tennis event playing. I'm probably going to go to that. Judy Murray tweeted it with the hashtag Deliciano. She's always fancied Lopez. First serve, Deuce, big first serve out wide. Novak misses it, I think. Second serve. Probably going to be another opportunity here for Sinner. Second serve down the tee. Sinner with a very good chance to attack on the backhand return, but he just goes wide. Sinner, yeah, I would agree with Simon there. A lot of depth, but the main line there is Sinner unable to cope so far. Honestly, he's not impressed me that much. There's been a lot of points where he should have had a better opportunity to do something different. Normally, I don't put it on the player that's losing. I tend to praise the player that's winning, but I've really not been that amazed at the performance of Jannik Sinner so far.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of shots that have just went wayward when it's been a very important moment. He should have done better.
Yeah, he can't seem to capitalize on advantages. Honest, and I see that a lot with these I mean I can't call them next gen anymore, but like with the younger players, with the other sort of top 10 guys, I don't see them capitalize on when they have these chances, when they don't take advantage when they have it. They can't close out.
Yeah, I don't generally like to, make it as sweeping a statement as that, Isabel, but certainly you're looking at this match right now. That's the case. At the moment, Sinner's not playing well enough in the bigger points. And normally I don't just say that, don't just make it as easy a statement as that, but it kind of is. He's had 4 different chances. He's unforced error in each one. That so far should be the story of the match. There's been first serves that have been keeping Djokovic afloat, but Sinner's had chances and he's squandered all of them. It's harsh. It's harsh. I really like Jannik, but it's harsh but fair. Love 15 on Sinner's serve. Second serve. Novak gets it back into play. Slices to the Sinner backhand for a change-up. Another slice. Yeah, Djokovic with a backhand cross again, gets a forehand for the first time. Jannik gets a forehand, tries to go huge. Of 30. 6-3, 6-2, 6-4, Isabel, would that make you go back to bed?
I mean, if it's over by 7:30, which is in about half an hour,
Yeah.
but I don't expect it to. No, I won't really go to bed, but I might have another cup of coffee.
Well, you might get an opportunity in a second. It's looking like this
Yeah.
set could be wrapped up because it's second serve, love 30. Jannik Sinner looking to do something here to keep himself alive. Second serve to the Novak forehand. Novak attacks immediately, was expecting it. Another forehand to keep him up in the point. A third forehand for Novak. Sinner clawing back. There's no way that's in. It's out, right? Yeah. Djokovic goes a little too big and it's 15-30. Good defense from Sinner. It's a good point from our producer. Kachanov had chances. Hurkacz, now Sinner. Kachanov, yeah. Hurkacz definitely had chances. He was serving the best, maybe bar Eubanks, of anybody in the tournament. Hurkacz was just a joke this tournament. He always is at Wimbledon. The fact that was it was 4 sets, of course, but the fact he didn't win some of the tie breaks, I mean, Hubie's got to do better than that. He's got to improve his forehand because it's been a weakness for a long time now. It's only going to be a weakness against the best players in the world. Jannik misses a backhand +1 there, and it's now 15-40. Keep in mind, though, Djokovic last year went down the first set, and then the second set was 6-2, and then he won the last 3. Maybe Sinner does the opposite to Djokovic. Who knows? No, I know. It's not going to happen. Here we go. Still a first serve. Sinner with a let. Big first serve to Djokovic's backhand, but it's very deep in the court. Sinner with no advantage. Trading backhands cross. A slice to the Sinner backhand. A bit loose from Djokovic there. Tries to go big. So it's 30-40.
Feel like we've been here before.
Yeah. I don't think there has been a game with a break point on Sinner's serve that Djokovic hasn't converted yet. And likewise, every time Sinner's had a break point in a service game of Djokovic's, it hasn't been converted. Here we go. First serve for Sinner out wide. Novak somehow gets it back into play. Sinner with a wee... Yeah, good 1-2 punch. I thought he was going to bottle that there.
This is one of those matches that, for people who are maybe trying to get into tennis, it's not one of the ones you should watch.
It's not been very electric so far.
No.
Definitely. I think that's a very good point from Anastasia. There was a very telling tweet from Matthew Willis recently. He put it really well. They're sort of a byproduct of each other. They've been fighting each other for so long.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that anybody can eclipse them is just mad because they've not had the same competition. They've not had the same drive to improve every single part of their game.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, I don't know that it's that they don't have the same drive, because I think at a certain level of tennis, they obviously have the same drive. But with each of these guys, I mean, when Nadal showed up, how many slams had Federer already won? Like when they started really battling, it was a few.
Yeah.
So he was already at the top level. And then, when Djokovic showed up, Nadal was already at the top level. So yes, absolutely, they all had to and were able to change and improve their game based on each other's skills, which is incredible, and that doesn't happen very often, and very well could be the reason why the three of them were so the big three. Because I don't even know that Andy Murray, and don't kill me, Jack, but was Andy Murray able to do that? Like, was he able to adjust his game in the same way?
Yeah, he did. So there was like a lot of forehand improvements and stuff to get him sort of over the line at the US and Wimbledon in particular. So no, he was part of that as well, but obviously was just never as talented as the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
So he was always playing second fiddle. But the fact he was playing them just as often as the others, I don't think drive is the right word, Isabel. I agree. It's more about the experience of playing one another. Being in that position where you need to step your game up in the biggest moment to the absolute, peak of your powers, basically. I feel like we've not seen Novak play at his peak for quite a while
a few
now.
years. Yeah.
Which is the scary thing. You remember him. Go on.
But yeah, I mean, I think there's a really good point in that comment, and it's not wrong. There's definitely elements of truth to it, but I think that these guys have been edged out so much because of these three players. Like, I think they definitely do have the drive to like get better and figure out how to beat them, but it's just, it feels like an impossible task. Like, they're already so far behind, and Djokovic already has such an elite level above them that I don't know that they're not trying, or that they don't have the drive to beat them, or improve their game based on Djokovic. Like, I really think it's just he's on a different planet.
Yeah, he is.
And all they can do now is just focus on beating each other, which I think they do. Like, I mean, look at Tiafoe, like what he's done to improve his game just in the last year, since the US Open last year, breaking into the top 10 for the first time, like that. Like, I think they're more focused on themselves than beating each other.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly good argument. Steph comes to mind.
Yeah.
Steph's weaknesses have just remained exactly the same. He's tried to focus on improving his strengths. That's not going to win you matches. It's just like, what is he doing? Last peak Novak match was RG 2021. I think those are the two matches that came to mind. RG 2022 as well. Definitely. I think when he was playing Rafa both times, that's about as far as I've seen Novak's level go for a while. Definitely. There's been a few Medvedev matches actually as well, where I feel like Djokovic really raises the level. He always respects his game a lot, maybe more than others. By the way, sorry, score. Sinner did hold that game fairly comfortably in the end. Two very easy points just to get him over the line. And at the moment, Novak went down love 15 after a very lovely combination at the net from Sinner, but we are currently 30-15 after Djokovic managed to get a free point on serve again. Again, just keeping himself, rattling over with easy service points. It's not what Sinner can do. It's what Novak can do. It's fantastic. I like it. I like watching it, but it's not for everybody. Anastasia says, I actually think Tiafoe is a great example of this, but not in a good way. I'm sorry you want to be the best in the world in the top 10. Get better on clay. Don't complain about it. Meh. I'm not. I don't really understand the point there. I guess Anastasia.
Does he complain about clay? I mean, what American doesn't really?
I don't know. He won a clay court title this year. He's not that bad in clay. He's pretty good. His strengths still translate to there as well. He's got a very good serve. He's a bit of an all-court player nowadays, actually. So he has made a lot of improvements to his own game, but I haven't seen improvements that make me think he's close to beating Novak, is all I would say.
Yeah. I just don't think that any of them are. And so I try not to, use that as a measuring stick in a way.
Yeah, it's a little
because I just sort of assume no one's going to beat him.
Yeah. Novak complaining about something to the box there. I think he's trying to get rid of somebody, maybe. No, I can't figure that out. I don't know. He's like doing that. I'm pretty sure that's how you swear, and I can't remember what country, but could be wrong. Anyway, Novak 40-30 from the ad side here. Big first serve to the backhand of Sinner. Must be a let. So on again. But yeah, just for the record, Tiafoe did win in Houston. I know it's American clay, but it's still clay. He's not that bad on the surface. He can do it. Big first serve down the tee from Novak. Doesn't come back into play. So we are now 5-3 on the verge of a 2-sets-to-love lead over Jannik Sinner in the Wimbledon semi-finals. Last time Novak lost a match from 2-sets-to-love up was the French Open in 2010. Lost to Jurgen Meltzer. That's a fair while ago, obviously. Since then, he's won 22 Grand Slams. So don't think he'll be in much danger.
I don't know why people give so much flack to Americans for not being able to play on clay. Because I kind of just think like, well, what do you expect?
It's interesting actually, Isabel, because there's a very strong argument to make that if you grow up playing on hard courts, you're probably going to have a less rounded game than on clay courts. And it's an argument. You know, there's people who break that argument. But if you play on a hard court, you're going to play much less backhands than if you play on a clay court, which is generally why you get players that can play from the back of the court coming from Europe more so than Americans. And I think that's a fairly big point.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't blame Americans for that, or when the surface just doesn't exist here. There isn't anywhere to practice that. So like, It's
just interesting. Yeah, it's a good point. I get the point you're making. You shouldn't. Yeah, it's genuinely just a byproduct of where you live and where you grow up. So actually, getting a player like Andy Murray growing up in Britain, that's unexpected. And actually, Andy isn't even really a byproduct of British tennis. He grew up playing tennis in Spain.
Yeah.
So you do generally, probably if you're an American as well, you probably want to move somewhere else to learn the game.
I mean, I think the only Americans I can think of who've done well on clay are the Williams sisters, right?
Yeah. And I mean, the Williams sisters are interesting because their games are generally just powerful enough that any kind of movement deficiency, I mean, back in the day, both of them were great movers anyway, but they generally got away with that in the latter stages of their career because their games were so powerful anyway. So it's quite similar to like Pete Sampras, his game is big enough for that as well. And there's loads of examples of it. You can have a big enough game that you get away with your weaknesses, but in today's generation, certainly in the men's game, it's pretty hard to cover up those weaknesses with Novak at the top.
Mm-hmm. It's been interesting. I was reading the Federer book this year, and I didn't realize that he grew up on clay courts, and it surprised me that he grew up playing on clay and thinking that's his best surface when he never really did that well with the French Open. I mean, he did win it, but it was the most difficult for him to win.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was the same for Rafa. Rafa used to say that I'm sure it was indoor. Literally, he used to say indoor hard court was his favorite surface, and that historically has been by far his worst. So I don't know why. Maybe these players like it in a masochistic way. I don't know. But I think it made sense because Federer wasn't a bad clay court. He really wasn't. I think people forget that. He just always came up against Rafa, who is by far the best clay courter of all time.
Not always. Not for the first few years of his dominance.
That's true. Sorry, you're right. No, there was a few years from like 2003 to 5 where he was winning slams and he still wasn't winning at the French.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't know who he was playing against at the time. I mean, Safin maybe.
No, it wouldn't have been Safin. Querton was up there. I think he lost to Querton a few times. Lost to Pat Rafter the first year he played a slam, actually. Pat Rafter in 1999. There's not many chances for him to have had a go at the French before Rafa came along, and he came close a few times. Again, he still wasn't that bad a clay court. But you're right. I mean, it was surprising that he then went on to become like the most aggressive kind of front foot ball striker the game's ever seen, I would say, from like 2004 to 2008. Tiny bit sidetracked, sorry. Sinner just held. It's 5-4 to Novak. He is going to serve for the set. He got through that one pretty comfortably. Will Novak hold his own here, Isabel? What do you think? Yeah, just yeah. I agree. Just yeah. Odds on him getting broken here. We'd love to see it. Come on, Jannik. There is a chance. Underlining point from Anastasia there is to beat the Djokovic's, Nadal's, Federers of the world, you have to push a little more, a little further. That's what those three did. That's what these three foreign brackets, I appreciate that, Anastasia, did. You're quite right. And they deserved a little bit of that conversation, right? He was playing these guys over and over again. I agree. Definitely. 5-4. Here we go. Novak coming out to serve for the set. Can Jannik put up any resistance whatsoever? There hasn't been a break the whole match so far in Djokovic's 9 service games. Here we go. First serve from Novak. Down the tee. Perfect serve. Perfect. That was like, literally must have been like that much on the line. So good. I love this stuff. I fawn over him. I think it's quite hard not to get enamored by how well he plays.
Yeah. I guess it's just
too predictable.
his personality that kills it for me.
And that's fair.
But at least you can appreciate it. So
yeah,
I just get tired of it.
I think a lot of fans feel the same, so I understand. That's another unreturnable serve from Novak. 30 love. Looking like he is going for a 2 sets to love lead here. Here we go. First serve. Out wide. Perfect. Sets up the easy forehand. Back behind Sinner. 40 love. 3 in a row. Let's wait till he's closed it out, actually. Let's wait till he's closed it out. Because I've got at least a question that'll pique your interest a bit, I think, Isabel.
Wake me up a bit.
Wake you up a bit, exactly. Second serve here, only delaying the inevitable, surely. Second serve to the Sinner. Backhand cross. Novak goes immediately down the line. Sinner with enough depth to force the error, though. 40-15. Ooh. I think Novak goes tee here. He's been going out wide most of the match. Right, here we go. Novak first serve. Wide, perfect ace. 2 sets to love. Novak Djokovic over Jannik Sinner. My question was going to be, who would you prefer to see him play in the final?
Preference.
From a competitive, entertainment, whatever
Yeah,
sort of point of view.
Maybe. I think either Medvedev or Alcaraz would be entertaining. I think both of them will be able to stand a little better than, say, Jannik against Djokovic. But I don't know. I feel like they're pretty evenly split on like chances and entertainment and stuff. I feel like they're both pretty equal. So I don't know that I have a preference. Maybe Alcaraz, just because it would be fun to see him win. But I think either match will be, will probably go 4, if not 5, and will be really entertaining. Either person.
To Djokovic, though.
Yeah. In the end, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm never going to pick anybody over Novak, but I actually think I think Medvedev could make it closer. I just think you need somebody that's going to serve well against Novak. I don't think Alcaraz served quite well enough that the odd service game isn't going to go Novak's way. I think also Medvedev is playing. He's playing well. I've seen him play recently against Novak and go into full kind of lockdown mode against him as well. That Novak's got frustrated, and in a final where Novak was actually pretty nervy against Ruud, there could be a little bit of nerves jangling. There's a chance Medvedev makes it pretty difficult for him. I don't think Alcaraz has as much chance. I think Alcaraz is going to be forced to go pretty damn big to win the points, and all the pressure is going to be on him, where Novak can just kind of, go to his base level, get everything back into place, serve well. It's not going to take that much from him to beat Alcaraz. That's a little harsh, maybe. Maybe Alcaraz is going to prove... I'd love Alcaraz to prove me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my feel.
Yeah.
That's my take.
I think I would agree with that. Medvedev might have the better chance.
Just given the matchup, definitely.
Yeah. But I think because it's not a hard court, I'm a little skeptical of Medvedev's chances.
I get that. I will make a little argument for that just to support Medvedev. I think his grass court game isn't as weak as people think it is. Sometimes it just takes one good run before people start saying, oh wait, he has a good grass quarter. This guy actually could be really, really effective in this surface. I just don't think that this stuff has fallen that well for him in the past. He should, on paper, have the game for grass. His shots stay really low. His serve's big enough. He's got good variety from the back of the court. Maybe not good enough for Novak, but he's definitely got the rally temperament for it. The only thing he's missing maybe is coming forward, but I think those things alone against Djokovic, that's about the only chance you're going to have. If you can keep balls low and get in his head, there's a good chance that, that works compared to any other play style for me. Jamie says, any chance the second semi could be as one-sided as this in Carlos's favour? Certainly under the roof, that'll help Medvedev serve. I was saying, compared to Indian Wells, I don't think you were going to get that again. I think the service in particular will be aided by the faster courts. So where Alcaraz's serve isn't quite as strong and Medvedev's is strong, Indian Wells, goes advantage Alcaraz on both sides there. I definitely think that's not going to be the case here. And obviously a bit of time on the forehand for Alcaraz definitely helps as well. So the faster surface should help Medvedev attack his forehand and it should help him on serve. So I would expect 5 sets. Expecting 5 sets is pretty unlikely, but still, I'll go to that prediction.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Nick says, I always thought Medvedev was a good grass quarter. Fair. Yeah. He's also had some pretty shocking losses though. So so I get why people would be skeptical. He lost to Hubie Hurkacz 6-4, 6-1 last year. Lost to Batista Agut, I think also 6-4, 6-1. Van Rijthoven, 6-4, 6-1. There was a lot of suspect games, but he was having a terrible year last year. He's looking confident this year. People forget he won in Rome, for goodness sake. He's got a chance. If Medvedev's winning, what's more likely, Medvedev winning in Rome or Medvedev beating Novak in a Wimbledon final?
Winning in Rome, I would say.
I would have said beating Novak in a final. That was previous to Rome. Nobody ever would have called Medvedev winning Rome. No way.
I'm just saying the two are very unlikely, but Novak at Wimbledon. So I'd rather pick Rome.
Fair enough. Sinner with an easy hold there. 1 love on the board. He still believes. A little forza to the team there. Jamie in the comments says, I remember Medi beating Stan on centre court in 2017. First year Stan was going for the career slam. I do not remember that. Wow. That's mad. Thank you for that, Jamie. I did not realise Stan was left out of the calendar, the career slam, I should say, by Daniel Medvedev all those years ago. I also have another one about Medvedev in Wimbledon. I was going to say, the year before, he was beaten by Marcus Willis in qualifiers. So Marcus Willis got to the second round. A lot of Brits will remember this. Isabel, sorry, you might not know the name. But he got to the second round against Federer. He beat Medvedev and Rublev in qualifiers for Wimbledon. I don't know if anybody's even beaten Medvedev and Rublev in the same tournament like since then. It's mad. It was a very good qualifying run. Anyway, back to the game. 15-love for Novak. Big unreturnable serve again. Should be an easy hold here probably. Another unreturnable serve. He's gone up a little notch since that service game at 5-4 in the second set. I think it's been like literally about 5 out of the last 6 points have been unreturnable serves.
I don't know if John is hanging out backstage, but I'm going to step away for a second.
John, I'm sure I heard you. Right, 30-love. Novak service game here. Tries to flatten out a forehand. Still looking a little bit off balance as he motions to the team. Yeah, it was some run. It was some run by Marcus Willis. It's worth checking out just to jog the memory if you can't remember it. It was one of those British stories that, Wimbledon commentators cling on to when nothing else is going right. Obviously, Andy actually won the title that year, sorry, but since Andy's Wimbledon heroics, there's not been much to be too happy about at Wimbledon. So it's one of those proper British stories of the underdog getting to like the second or third round. Another unreturnable serve from Novak. That is 40-15 now. If Sinner doesn't break for a 6th consecutive set against Novak Djokovic at Wimbledon, Novak's serving well, but there has been I mean, I said it earlier. There's been 4 break points where he should have converted at least one of them. It's poor. The fact his forehand is breaking down in those situations, not happy about it. Not happy about it. That should be Sinner's bread and butter. That should be Sinner's strongest shot in his arsenal, I would say. The fact that that's breaking down under the utmost pressure, didn't consider it a weakness before this match, but we've had 4 instances where I am starting to reconsider. Lovely service game from Novak there, pristine. As we go to 1-0. Sinner missing the sliding serve. I touched on it earlier. I'll touch on it again. Sinner doesn't have that serve in his arsenal, the wide one in the juice court. When he does hit it, it's a bit of a rarity. So now Novak's in an extended rally with Sinner, and we've seen quite a few of these rallies end the same way. Backhand dumped into the net by Jannik Sinner, and it's Novak love 15. We are potentially delaying the inevitable here, as I touched on earlier, in case you didn't catch it. The last time Djokovic has lost from 2 sets to love up in a slam is Jürgen Meltzer at the French Open in 2010. Has won 22 Grand Slams since then. Him trying to get rid of Surrey. There we go. Perfect point there from Novak Djokovic to go love 30 now. Managed to force an error from Sinner's potentially weak forehand now. I was praising it at the start of the match, but under pressure. I know, Max. Good to see you too. I can believe it's happening to Sinner. I can. It's a shame, but it's pretty much what happened last year. So, Djokovic is serving well enough just to get the odd 3 point to tick him over, basically tie him by. And when Sinner has given Djokovic opportunities on his own serve, well, it's actually about how many opportunities he's giving. I would say he's not winning enough 3 points off his serve. I'd like to see the stats after the match. I'd like to see the stats on how many times he's won a point going wide in the juice court. I just don't think it touches Djokovic's. As I was saying at the start of the match, it's normally been the serve in this matchup that's been the biggest disparity, and it continues to be. And the forehand has, unfortunately, I'm starting to reconsider the forehand a bit as well. Or just the ground game in general. I thought it was more solid. There's been a few moments where I've not been particularly impressed with it. Love 40. Potentially spelling the end here. if Sinner can't muster up a little bit of resistance at the last stretch here. Big first serve has gone a mile out. It's a second serve. Big backhand cross court from Jannik, but it's not enough as Djokovic redirects, so he's got the advantage now. Djokovic defends now, manages to get the backhand deep. Jannik does the same with a backhand cross, keeps going cross with Novak. Novak refusing to miss. Great backhand cross again. Sinner decides to slice. Djokovic goes down the line with his backhand. He's had a few in a row now. Sinner refusing to give Djokovic a forehand, and he does eventually get the unforced error from Djokovic. 19 shots later. Oh, that was the first break point, of course. Sorry, I was thinking we were going back to juice now. That's only 15:40. So still not looking great for Sinner. Still, that was impressive. That was good stuff. Very steely of him. I agree, Nick. Did handle that. He handled that last one sublimely. Not just okay. Tough to do when you're love 40 down. Big first serve out wide. That's the one I've been talking about. We haven't seen... I don't even think we've seen an ace on that side from Sinner. That was a very, very good serve. Well played. 30-40. Oh, hi, John.
Hi. I think somehow I've managed to overtake you since the beginning of the match. As in, like, the beginning of the match, you were 5 seconds ahead, and now I think I'm 5 seconds ahead of you.
Oh, so you're a touch ahead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's happening here at the 30-40?
Well, I can tell you it's going to be juice.
Ooh, it's an unreturnable serve again from Sinner. Come on, Forza. That was good. I think he deserves a little bit of credit for that first point there. It's pretty tough to stay that resilient at love 40, 2 sets down, triple break point to go down a break in the third set. That was very impressive on that first point. And then 2 unreturnable serves. He's barely had an unreturnable serve the whole match. That was very, very, very impressive from Jannik. Let's give him a bit of praise.
I guess the problem is keeping that belief. When you go down a break in the first game of the match or the second game of the match, but your first service game, you then lose the set, having had 3 break points. You then go down an early break in the in the second. It's difficult, and I do think sometimes with all of the big 3. But I remember reading it in the Federer book from Simon Chambers and Simon Graf, just that, the lovey-dovey friendship thing and is there until the match starts. But I still think that some players they can't leave it in the locker room. They can't leave it off the court, that they are a little softer at times, and they're not the killer that these 3 guys can just sort of transform themselves into. I don't know. I think, I've seen it before I remember a guy called Nagal, an Indian guy playing Roger.
Yeah. Summit Nagal.
Exactly. In the first round. And he's like so gushing in his praise over Roger before their first round match in New York. And I thought, you've lost this, mate, before you even take the court. And I see it a lot with, it's so great to share the court with you. And I'm thinking, I remember, I think after a final, in Belgrade, maybe in 2021, I think it was Belgrade 2, because I think there was 2 clay court tournaments that year in the build-up to Roland Garros. And yeah, everyone just seemed to be so happy to take the court that I was thinking, yeah, you've lost this match before it's even begun.
Yeah. At the same time, there's a lot of counters to that, I would say. I know what you mean with the lower ranked players playing their idols. It's maybe not the best way to prepare yourself for the match, right? But then you've got a lot of Jabeur and Sabalenka the other day, these 2 who were so friendly to each other off the court, and it was a fiery match,
I agree, but I think it depends on the person and the character, and those 2 are. Jabeur's not Sabalenka's not at Novak's level on the women's side. It's not that level of stature. I mean, these are 2 people that have been in 5 Grand Slam finals between them, I think, something like that, maybe 4. And Ons has been in 2 of them. So I don't know. It just okay. I've got my stats slightly wrong there, but you know what I mean. It's not quite the same dynamic. I think they're number 2 and number 6 or whatever in the world. It's different. I think that to lose a match before you even take the court to Sabalenka, I think is unlikely. You're always going to have that belief because she hasn't got 23 Grand Slams behind her for a start. I do think that certain, like on the break points, it's a classic example in this match here. And I think that and we saw it with Carlos in Paris too. Carlos said, I felt more nervous, not because it was a French Open semi-final, but because it was Novak on the other side of the net. So, okay, I am going off a tangent somewhat away from my sort of softening up thought, but I've seen people lose to Novak and I think they look a bit too happy.
I'm just trying to figure out if Sinner made that shot there, by the way. Sorry.
It's okay. It also works with Rafa too. I mean, Casper Ruud rolls over and has his belly tickled for sure. Sebi Korda has a cat named after Rafa. So
it doesn't help, does it?
No.
Don't name your pet after the guy you're going to play against. I mean,
Serena definitely on the women's side is the better example. I think Sharapova, for example, would be a good example there.
Yeah.
I mean, not quite friends there, of course.
No. But it didn't make much of a difference for Sharapova in that matchup, I would say.
No, it didn't. No.
That was
that goes into the net, so we've got 30 all.
It's quite funny, actually. That's quite a good example of the opposite happening, John, where there's like a little bit too much aggro between two players, and then one of the players uses it to their advantage so much that the other player doesn't have a chance. Maybe Sharapova should have been a bit more lovey-dovey to Serena, because that after she won their first match, Serena must have won like the next 22, I think, or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. 40-30, by the way, to Novak. Managed to dig in with another great serve. It is a little bit tiring to see Sinner squandering semi-opportunities, big opportunities on Novak's serve. Novak's serving well, but he's not serving sublimely. There's been a lot of unreturnable serves, but there's been opportunities that Sinner squandered. I know I'm kind of going round in circles with this, but that's been the story of the match for me, and I'm probably going to come away from this match feeling a little bit disappointed in Jannik, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I didn't necessarily think Sinner would win this match. I've got to confess though, at the beginning of the tournament, I had Sinner get into the final at the expense of Novak in this semi-final, primarily because a bit like with Iga, and also similar theory with Novak throughout most of the clay court season, including Roland Garros. I thought, for example, Novak wouldn't win Rome. I just didn't know exactly who he would lose to. I went for Rune in the quarters. Turned out I got it right. I thought Novak wouldn't win the French Open. I didn't know who he would lose to, but I went for Carlos in the semis. Got that one wrong. Again, I just thought that maybe an edge might come away from Novak, having got to 23. I think he's got the calendar slam to go for, and he's obviously an extremely motivated individual. But with Novak, I have seen him get into a situation where things are going very well and the pressure comes off. And actually, he does relax a bit. I have seen it historically with him where he's got in situations before, not in matches, but in terms of his career, where he did probably just ease off a little bit. And I think there would be a good reason for him to do so right now, because we've saw it with Bjorn Borg, we saw it with Pete Sampras, we've seen players retire. We've also seen that these three have pushed themselves to another level. And that's because they kept pushing themselves and pushing. There isn't really much to push Novak now, apart from Novak. That's not to say that he can't do it. And of course, he may well be proving me wrong in the next, 48 hours.
Yeah. I was a little bit enamored there. I didn't catch the last thing you said just because Novak's backhand totally threw me away there, by the way, John. Apologies. It was very nice. He managed to convert that game point with a sublime backhand down the line. We've not seen that many special shots this match. It's been a little bit, kind of just par for the course, right? Could have been a bit more electric. I'm expecting more from the next semi-final. I'm not saying Jannik's out yet, but not got high hopes.
There was one final point I wanted to make on this regarding Novak and the motivation. I remember going into Wimbledon last year, so I've got a pretty much a 50-50 track record on this, if you like. I remember going into Wimbledon last year, and everyone was going, pressure's on Novak. You've seen Rafa win the first two slams, blah 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 blah. And I said, this is Novak's best territory because he's back against the wall here. And that's the best kind of Novak that we see when the back is against the wall. I know we're seeing a pretty epic rally here. Sorry, which I think Novak is going to finish off. No, Jannik keeps fighting and Novak is moving him everywhere around the court and he wins it 15-love.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I'm back to ahead again, John.
I think you are, yeah.
Absolutely beautiful point. It's so good from Djokovic.
So yeah, Novak back against the wall, because I know a lot of certainly Novak fans were really worried and saying, oh, so much pressure on him here. We saw how he was in New York with the pressure. I said different type of pressure. There's the front runner pressure, and then there's the back to the wall pressure. And the back to the wall pressure is what I think most people prefer, and Novak in particular. You know, it's like the pressure he gets from the crowd. You know, he loves that. Yeah,
absolutely. I think he hasn't had his back against the wall that much. That's why we haven't seen him at his best level. No. I was touching on it earlier. He hasn't had to play his best level. He just hasn't. I think one of the best matches I can think of where somebody actually put up a pretty decent fight was Berrettini in 2021 in the Wimbledon final. I think Berrettini gets a little bit uncredited for how well he played that match. He served really well. He played some really, really good points. And he constantly kept pressure on Novak's serve, but every single time there was pressure on there, Novak played this amazing approach shot. He came into the net and he said to Berrettini, can you pass me on your backhand? So it didn't look particularly special, but Novak just knows what to do in the bigger points, because I think Berrettini made one pass the whole match. He just knows how to play it, basically. So whether that's serving in the right direction against Jannik Sinner, which he's done plenty of times here, whether that's approaching to the backhand against Berrettini, whether that's serving into Tsitsipas's backhand, he will be able to execute that play 9 times out of 10 and doesn't really have to do much more special than that against these guys. As disappointing as it is for me to say that.
Indeed. There's been a few incorrect line calls apparently today. Terry's been counting and we're at 4.
Oof. Is that one of them?
Not sure which one he's referring to in recent moments, but yeah. Anyway,
because that was a great forehand there from a line licker from Sinner there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're back sort of 5 seconds ahead of me now.
Yeah. 30-15. Sinner is ticking along. I might need to dive out for after this service game, John. I think.
Yeah, do it. I'll stay.
Until then, I'll take us through the end of this service game. He's got a second serve here. Sinner looking to keep Djokovic at bay. Djokovic stepping in for a forehand that he gets deep, gets a follow-up forehand that should win him the point, and it does, 30-all.
I'll be back in a second.
Oh, you've got the mic with you. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I'm walking around my house with a microphone.
Okay, cool. Well, I really will be giving you the
commentary
now, John. I'll tell you what's going on. It's 30-all at the moment. Nothing wrong there, really, from Sinner. Just gave Novak a second serve. First serve here, out wide, does land it. Novak's going to challenge. I think he could be right here. Oh no, he is walking. He's walking to the other side. Maybe not. It's going to be close though. First serve wide. He did make it. Well done, Sinner. That's the serve I've been looking for. That's the serve I've been doubting from Jannik. I don't think he can make that over and over again. But prove me wrong, Jannik. Come on. Forza.
He needs you in his ear.
Yeah. First serve down the tee. It's a let. I've done this a lot of times. And again. As we just tick over the 2-hour mark as well. Doesn't feel like 2 hours, but it's been a fairly lengthy match. First serve out wide from Jannik. Enough to force the return error. So Jannik is alive here. 3-2. He's up to his serve performance a bit. He's not spraying as many balls. I could see this going 4, but I don't expect much more than that.
Can you see it going 4?
I could see it going 4. He's raised his level a little bit, definitely. I actually think Novak has as well, but Jannik's definitely keeping up. So...
Listen, it's time for you to go. I was going to ask you a question, then I thought, it's going to take you a couple minutes to answer. It was going to be about Darren Cahill and just what your thoughts were on him as a coach.
I like. Well, I don't know too much about his coaching style. I don't know exactly, the ins and outs of it. I just know for sure he's there to sort of add to the kind of net play dynamic to Yannick's game. It has been helping. Have we seen it make the difference in any big matches? Nah, not so much. Certainly not here. There's been maybe two or three, a handful of net play points where Yannick's played okay. I don't think there's been anything particularly. Maybe he's adding something else, John. I don't know. Most of the time, I would expect it's not something technical these guys add. It's probably, something strategic in bigger moments. So I don't know, John. I don't know what else he would add apart from that. But I like him as a coach. Obviously, he's been in some amazing camps in the past. They've had some good results together. So he's probably a pretty good coach, John.
All right. Listen, on that note, we'll maybe see you for the fourth set. If we don't see you again, it's probably because it finished in straight sets.
Yeah, it's probably lights out. But we'll see. I'll be back for the fourth if it does happen.
Great. See you soon.
See you soon.
Ciao, as they would say in Italy, where, of course, Jannik Sinner originates. He's actually from the Tyrol region, I believe. Hence the kind of German first name, at least. 7-time champion Djokovic's 33-match win streak is what he's on right now, I believe, at Wimbledon, which is insane. Of course, he's been in numerous. He's obviously won 4, is it in a row? 18, 19. It's a nice volley there from Novak, and it's one in the point. So it's 15 love. Yeah, what did he win? He's won it 18, 19, 21, 22. So he's won it 5 times in a row. Indeed. Let me know your thoughts on that in the live chat. It's kind of turned out to be a bit of a damp squib so far. Yeah. Let's share this little caption here. So you can see the score and not just my head. 15 love, Novak Djokovic. Where are you going with this serve, Novak? You're going to the forehand of Jannik, backhand Novak, forehand Jannik is a winner. Nice forehand winner then, Jannik Sinner. So it's 15 all. Are we going to see something like the Hurkacz match where, of course, it was 2 sets to love and then it does become 2 sets to 1 and it does become interesting? That's what Jack is suspecting might happen. Those of you just joining, by the way, make sure you hit the like button. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. We are getting closer to 2,500 subscribers. Wasn't quite sure where we were last time I saw, but let's have a quick look. We're very, very close to that mark. It's 3015 Novak Djokovic, by the way. Yes, we are 12 subscribers short of 2,500. Jannik Sinner, they're doing up his shoes. And it's a fault. So it's going to be a second serve for Jannik Sinner to look at here. 30-15 down on the Novak serve. And Djokovic serving down the tee. Forehand return from Sinner. Backhand from Djokovic. Backhand Sinner is good depth on that backhand. Forehand to forehand right now. Novak now is going big. Good defense, though, there from Sinner. Forehand now Sinner. Forehand Novak. This is turning into a pretty good rally. And Sinner finishes it by putting the ball into the net. 40-15. If you hear some background noise, that's some roadworks occurring outside, just to give you a bit of ambience. Djokovic serving, 40-15. Now Djokovic to the forehand of Jannik Sinner. It goes long, and Djokovic holds 3 games all. Looks like Novak is going to change his racket as he prepares to return Jannik's serve at 3 all. So it's just a little before 10-4 in the UK. In fact, it is just now 10-4 in the UK, 10-5 here in where I am in Germany. Forehand return from Novak on the defensive there. Forehand from Sinner forces the error from Novak, and we are 15 love. Fifteen love. Three games all here in the third set. Sinner. Is that an ace? It is. 30 love. 30 love. Sinner serving. Goes down the tee. Backhand return from Novak. Forehand from Sinner. Clips the net. Goes over and benefits from that because it forces, I think, an error or certainly distracts Novak enough to into the tram line, and it is 40 love. Jannik Sinner, 3-game points for a 4-3 lead. Make sure you hit the like button, by the way, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Good first serve there from Jannik, but it's an excellent return from Novak. Now it's a slice from Novak, goes wide, 4-3, and we will take a short break.
Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks, including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered, whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
And we are back. It is 4-3 to Jannik Sinner, or 3-4 because Novak is serving. Novak there gets his first serve in. Forehand from Novak, forehand again from Novak. Sinner. Oh, what a winner! Jannik Sinner down the line. Probably the best shot from him this match. He was certainly behind in that rally throughout. It is love 15. Love 15, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Sinner here. Love 15. Forehand return from Jannik is long, I think. 15 all. 15 all. Of course, we've got the second semi-final to come. Tom will be giving you commentary on that one. Maybe a little bit from me as well, depending on what time it starts. Now it's 30-15, Novak Djokovic. Okay, Djokovic serving here at 30-15. He was love 15 after that sensational shot earlier. Goes down the T, forehand return. Novak on the forehand now. Jannik on the forehand. Novak on the forehand. Jannik on the defense now. Backhand there from Novak was kind of obvious, I think. Maybe Sinner could have read that one a little bit better. 40-15. You can become a member as well, like Terry, like Ghosty, and like so many others, just by clicking the membership thing pinged in the live chat. So, Novak Djokovic holds 4 games all now. Jannik Sinner to serve. He is 2 games away from losing this match, given that it's 4 games all. Goes into the net on the first serve. Backhand return from Novak is into the net. 15-love. 15-love, 4 games all. Roof remains closed, and I think it will be for the second match as well, due to the drizzle throughout London. Okay, Jannik down the tee, but clips the net. Now Jannik Sinner serving again. Where are you going with this serve? You are going down the tee. Forehand now, Jannik. Forehand, Novak. Backhand slice from Jannik on the defense, but there's good depth on that slice. And it's an excellent forehand winner from Jannik Sinner. 30-love. Love, Jannik Sinner. Good forehand winner there across court. Okay, Novak serving into the net. Second serve for Novak to look at. Jannik Sinner serving, second serve. 30-love. Where are you going with this one? You are going down the tee. Backhand return from Novak. Backhand now to backhand bang. Backhand slice there from Novak. Clipping the net there from Jannik Sinner, and maybe he benefits from that because Djokovic errs, and it's 40-love. They're racing through these service games at the moment. It's been a while since we had a break point. I think maybe just at the beginning was Sinner under a lot of pressure on his serve, I think, in the opening service game for him of the set. May have been love 40 even. Okay, Sinner serving. Backhand return from Novak is excellent. That's a classic Novak return, 40-15. From the best returner in the game and one of the best of all time, maybe alongside Andre Agassi. Agassi or Djokovic on the return, discuss. Djokovic here returning serve, 40-15. 2 game points for Jannik Sinner. It's a good serve from Jannik. He's in charge of the point, comes to the net, difficult volley. Does it land in? It does, and Novak hits the ball out. Jannik Sinner has held for 5-4. When we return, Novak Djokovic will serve to stay in this third set.
Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks, including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered. Whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
So, Djokovic here serving to stay in this set. And he goes down the tee. Good return from Jannik. Jannik now on the backhand. Backhand slice from Novak. Forehand from Jannik. Goes long. 15 love. Jannik was in charge of that. Jannik was in charge of that. And we have Isabel back after a little cooling moment for her laptop. You don't happen to have an HP laptop by any chance, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay, because my HP does overheat as well.
I have an old MacBook Pro. Just can't handle both the stream and the live stream sometimes. So, and it crashed a couple of times trying to get it back. But we're back, and I missed most of this set now, I guess. So what's happened?
Both players have been really comfortable on serve, except for Sinner in his opening service game. And I think he was love 40 down. And can you imagine being love 40 down and 2 sets to love down to the guy who's won this tournament 7 times already? But Sinner did really well to get out of jail, so to speak. And since then, both players have been pretty good. In fact, Jack was suggesting before he left that he thinks that Sinner had just raised his level slightly in this set, which probably explains why it's so competitive. I might be a few seconds behind you, okay, Isabel. So keep your, is it unscrupulous? Is that the word when you're keeping your, your expressions to yourself? I think it's unscrupulous, but I could be wrong. Do a poker face. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, I'll
if
try.
I start seeing you punching the air, I'm thinking that Sinner's obviously won the point. And if I just see you shaking your head, Sinner's squandered a chance.
Okay.
Anyway, Djokovic 15 all. And okay, I'll talk us through this point and I'll probably give you an idea. In fact, it's 15 all. You're probably already into the 4th set. That's how far I am behind. Anyway, we've got a good return there from Jannik. So it's 15-30 on the Djokovic serve. So technically right now, Sinner is 2 points away from winning this set and forcing a 4th. Jack is going to return, by the way, in about 15 minutes or so. So, This is how big a cheese I am right now. Liam Brody's coach has just texted me, and I'm going to make him wait. Isabel, see, that's where I'm at. You see, in the big cheese world, I've grown.
You can make them wait.
Forehand Novak sending Jannik the wrong way, but he stays in the point. But Novak is definitely in charge, but he's pulled it wide. And he had an excellent chance there, Novak, to make it 30 all on the forehand side. 15-40. I will come to you, Isabel, at the end of this game. And of course, that could be a matter of seconds away, or it could be a little bit longer. In fact, if Novak gets to deuce, I'll also come to you then, Isabel. So sit tight. It's just because I think you're a few seconds ahead. Anyway, I'll get back to Liam's coach in a minute. Normally he's got me, but on this occasion, at this moment in the match, I can't distract myself. So 15-40, Djokovic serving. Where are you going with this one? Going into the net. That's where you're going with this one. And if you're Jannik Sinner, you wouldn't mind him going in the net again. You know? Oh, what's Novak? Novak's not very happy about something. He's applauding what seems to be the crowd, or is he? Somebody called out, I suspect, because it was too early for a time violation. Maybe just
Yeah.
someone said, "Come on, Jannik," or "Hope you lose this set, Novak." Anyway,
It wasn't
15.
me, I swear.
15-40, Novak Djokovic serving. It's going to be a second serve for him to look at. Sinner here. What are we going to do? We're going down the tee. Backhand return from Sinner. Of course, he's had many break points already in this match, and he's lost another one. I think that's his 5th break point that he squandered in the match so far. Of course, most of them coming in the first set, which was certainly winnable there for Jannik. Anyway, second set point here. Novak, often in these scenarios, gets the first serve in. He didn't on the previous point. Jannik could not take advantage. Can he do so here? 30-40. Djokovic serving. Keep an eye on that serve clock. Okay, where are you going with this one, Novak? You're going to the backhand of Jannik. Jannik manages to stay in the point. Oh, but he's blown it. He's blown it. We're at deuce. Oh, dear. Isabel, you just know it's going to happen, right?
Yeah. I don't have any faith in Sinner.
No. I mean, a lot of that was about the excellent first serve from Novak, but even then, I just think that Jannik on occasions has seen the lights in front of him and been like a rabbit in the headlights. Okay, Novak bouncing the ball 73 times and goes into the net this time. So we're at deuce. So of course, the game is not gone yet. It's just that those 2 set points, Jannik is going to have to erase from his memory. Deuce, Novak Djokovic, second serve. Is Sinner going to go big on the return? As Jack was touching on earlier, one of the best returners in the game. Good, not bad forehand return from Jannik. Backhand, Jannik goes long, and he's annoyed. He's going to challenge, but I think he's annoyed, and I think he has blown it. It did seem to go long. We're going to have a quick look at this. How far are you in front of me, by the way, Isabel?
The game is over.
The game's done, yeah. So there we go. Djokovic is held for 5-all.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I think I was about 2 points ahead of you when it was 15-40. I was already at deuce. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you make of the women's semis, by the way, Isabel?
I was disappointed with the Svitolina match, not just because she lost, but because the level just wasn't there. I wanted it to be a little bit more competitive. But obviously the other semi, Sabalenka and Jabeur, was everything you want in a women's match. And I was pleased with the outcome. I didn't expect Jabeur to pull it out, but it was fantastic. And I didn't even get to see most of it.
Yeah, I saw both semifinals. Some people are saying it was a bit disappointing how the first one was, but I still think there was an element of doubt and drama to it until probably the last game, because I think Svitolina was down a double break. She gets it back to 4-all, and you're thinking, hello, this match has woken up. And Svitolina was in the first set for most parts. I think she went down an early break. She got that one back. So that when there's doubt, and it's still straight sets, okay. And I still think there was some exciting moments, and there was a story and a narrative for both players. Vondrousova, of course, is also going for her first Grand Slam. Of course, though, that's a nice forehand pass there for Jannik Sinner. Of course, though, the drama ended up being saved for the second match in particular. And it was fantastic. You didn't get to see the second match, right?
I saw the first set and most of the second set, but I had to leave to go to work. I think I left, I don't remember what the score was, but it was like, was Jabeur down like 4-1 or something at some point?
She was down 4-2 in the second set, yeah.
I think that was around when I left. It was about 4-2. And I thought, it's not going to happen. So I left, didn't even turn on the radio to listen to the rest of it. And then everyone, my mom, my aunt, they all started texting me.
Yeah.
Saying like, ons. And so I had to tune in for the last set, but I just listened to the radio.
Anastasia, by the way, is talking about some of the trolling from Djokovic because because there was obviously somebody in the crowd that had annoyed him, and he's like this when he eventually wins that game. So that's what Anastasia is referring to there. Yeah, I mean, listen, you would have gone to work thinking, oh well, Sabalenka's in another Grand Slam final, having made it also in Australia, and another year goes for Ons, and I think we're all thinking that at 4-2, and Ons is 27, I think, but bearing in mind, Iga, Arena, Elena are all younger than her and all getting better and better and better. You know, when you're older, but you're still at the top, like Djokovic, Rafa, and Roger, you know, no big deal. You know, every year, and you've already won 15 slams anyway, no big deal. And also it's like Medvedev. Medvedev is still, you know, improving in certain elements of his game and also on certain surfaces. And he's already got the Grand Slam under his belt. So no big deal. As tragic as it is that Dominic Thiem has just disappeared in terms of the top 100, etc., he's got his slam. He took it. Cilic took it. Jabeur is in this category along with, you know, David Ferrer. I'm just trying to think of some others in the last sort of 20 years that have made Casper Ruud potentially. They're getting to the finals, but they're not getting over the line.
Yeah. But it's just been the one final, right?
2 for Ons, 2.
2. Okay.
2, yeah. But like I say, it's the age thing as well. If she was 21, 22, like you know, I'm looking at Leylah
27 isn't that old.
I know, Isabel. I know. I'm a few years older than 27, but no. But in tennis terms,
Yeah,
you know,
it is. It is.
Also, I also think Nick was talking about Ons potentially being a member of a big four. The problem is really it's Wimbledon or bust. I know she got to the final in New York last year, but I think that was circumstantial. I don't see Elena and Arena and Iga all imploding enough for Ons to get a title on a hard court, if I'm honest, a Grand Slam title anyway. I know she's really good on clay, but there's a certain Polish woman who's just unbeatable on clay. So it's kind of Wimbledon or bust for her, and therefore it is kind of one a year, if you like. And therefore every year that goes past, it's like, okay, see you again next year, and fingers crossed you make it.
Yeah. Well,
and it was delightful. It was delightful.
I don't think, if she can keep that level that she had in the last set yesterday, tomorrow, then, I think she'll be fine. I think she'll win pretty smoothly.
Yeah, I listen, I think Anastasia's suggesting 3 if you count the US Open 2022. I think that's I think Ons has only been in 2 finals, but I could be wrong. But anyway, yeah, she'll be fine. I actually think in terms of the pressure, I think coming from behind in the 2 semifinals, in the quarterfinal, the semifinal, is a little bit easier than being the front runner as she was in the final against Rybakina last year. And I think nerves did get to her there. You know, you're one set up, you're almost, you know, in best of 3, you're getting close to the finish line, if you like, and you're like thinking, oh, I might win Wimbledon. Whereas in these 2 matches, especially against Rybakina, who she lost to last year, it was like, also she was serving for the first set against Rybakina, couldn't close it out. Yeah. And in the second set, she won that set by being the returner on that moment, if you like. And I think it helped her being the returner because it's a little easier to, in terms of the nerves, rather than having to serve it out, to just break and grab the set.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, I'm watching again Sinner and Novak, and on Novak's serve, it is 15-love. So we'll see how this point pans out. There was a challenge there that I think Novak won. But anyway, 15-love, Djokovic serving. Where are you going to go with this one? You are going down the T. Forehand return from Sinner. Backhand Sinner now. Backhand Novak. Has that landed in? No, it hasn't. 15-all. So I'm not sure how many break points it is, but I think it's about 5 that Sinner's had, and he's broken serve 0 times. And in fact, more significantly, it's basically 6 sets since Jannik Sinner broke Novak Djokovic's serve at Wimbledon, if you include the 3 sets that Novak won consecutively last year.
Is Djokovic looking a little nervy?
Yeah, but I think he can feed off the confidence that he knows that his opponent down the other end of the net, other side of the net, is gonna implode to some extent when he gets a chance. I think you do. You know, if you see your opponent getting nervous, like what 15-40, and he's thinking, "Oh, I've got a chance here," it probably gives you a bit of confidence too, right?
Yeah.
I just wonder if it was a killer on the other end, like maybe a Medvedev, maybe a Carlos, certainly a Rafa or a Roger. And we're at 30 all, by the way. I just think at 15-40, Novak's feeling a bit more pressure. But it's Jannik Sinner, and he's already squandered 3 or 4 break points already, and he's thinking, I just keep this in play, and I wait for Jannik to make a mistake. Anyway, 30 all. Maybe Jannik is going to make me eat my words in the next couple of minutes, because if he wins the next 2 points, we're going into a 4th set. If Novak wins the next 2 points, we're going to a tiebreak, and then we know what happens.
This goes to a 4th set. I don't know that I can stick around.
No, I know. I'm okay with that. I've already factored in the fact that you are here for 3 hours, basically, or possibly even slightly less. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We're actually already at 2.5 hours for this match. Oh, I don't know. Thought I saw Jack back. Jack, I can just see his. You can't see the backstage, can you, Isabel? Right?
No, I can't.
No, I can see Jack. He's just his chair, his empty chair. So Djokovic has game point at 40-30. Where are you going with this one? He's clipped the net with one of his serves. Of course, the roof remains closed, and I think it'll be closed for the second match as well, which will be coming up shortly. Well, I say shortly. That's assuming Novak closes this out. Okay. Second serve, Novak Djokovic. Sinner have a little nibble at the serve here, potentially. 2 hours, 37 minutes on the clock for this duration. Okay. Novak return there from Sinner. Forehand from Novak is in. So we're going to a tiebreak. Novak's going to do this, right? I'm not sure if Isabella's frozen. Oh, no, I can see her eyes lifting up. Novak's going to do this, right?
I mean, yeah, probably.
He hasn't lost a tiebreak since the Beatles split up, I think.
Yeah. You never want to get into a tiebreak with him or let him go to the bathroom, because that's when he wins.
Right, Sinner serving here, 6 games all. Where are you going with this one? You're going to the forehand of Novak, and Novak goes long, but it means very little to take an advantage. We saw Hurkacz, of course, leading 5-3 in one tiebreak, 5-4 in another with 2 serves as well. So Hurkacz was within touching distance of beating Novak in a tiebreak, but on neither occasion was able to do it. Novak's squinting there. I don't know if he's got some sweat or grass in his eyes. Who knows? Anyway, he's composing himself. 0-1. I'm averting my eyes away from my screen so I don't see your reactions.
I'm doing okay by not reacting. You know?
I'm sure you're good.
I haven't done anything so far.
My computer's here anyway, and the TV's there, so it does kind of work well. Yeah, some glasses just smashed outside, giving you a bit of ambience for the audience. We had some road works, and now I just heard someone smashing a glass. There's a bar below me, by the way, where I live.
Oh, okay.
It's not just random people smashing glasses. What a return, Jannik Sinner. Maybe they were smashing glasses in celebration. I was going to say Greek style, but it's more plates, I believe. Have you been to Greece, Isabel?
No, never. Haven't really been to the Mediterranean.
Okay. Where you've been to? I know you've been to Belgium, France, Germany?
No, didn't make it over to Germany. The other place I went to was Portugal.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, that's pretty much Med, unless were you in the north or the south? Or Lisbon?
I was in Lisbon and outside of Lisbon.
So that's not quite Mediterranean, then that's looking out to the Atlantic. But did you like Lisbon?
Oh my God, it was amazing. And I was mostly in Nazaré. I only spent 1 day in Lisbon, but I spent about a week in Nazaré.
Is that a nearby sort of beach place?
Yeah, it's that surfing village that has the best waves in the world.
Are you a surfer?
No, God, no. I had family there,
Okay.
so I just watched from afar because those beaches aren't even safe to like be on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're that intense, but pretty incredible. Worth a visit.
And I love Lisbon, by the way. So if you get a chance to go back and explore the city more, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You got to have good walking shoes, though, and plenty of stamina because it's very, very hilly, very up and
Yes,
down.
I discovered that.
Yeah. Anyway, talking of ups and downs, Jannik Sinner is up and Djokovic is down because Sinner leads 3-1 with a mini break. But I think this point is big because Sinner gets to 4-1 with a mini break advantage. Then that's a nice gap. You seed the mini break and you also then lose the momentum. So let's see how this one pans out. 3-1 Sinner serving into the net. So Djokovic, arguably the best returner of all time, having a second serve possible return to look at here. Jannik Sinner goes long, and there we go. There we go, ceding the advantage with a double fault, and we're now back on serve.
They both seem kind of annoyed with the surface.
Yes, they
Jannik
have been.
does.
Yeah, no, but Djokovic too at certain points. Maybe Jannik can relax a bit now, given that he had that little advantage and now it's gone. Whether that was nerves or just going big on the second serve, not sure. Possibly nerves or concern. Okay, Djokovic serving. Gets his first serve in. Forehand Novak. Backhand Jannik has gone long and it's 3-all. And I see what you mean now regarding Jannik being annoyed with a slip. Yeah. Yeah, I think Jannik has slipped a few more times than Novak, but Novak too. I depends on how quickly they close the roof, but it also may just be very humid in there. I know that that's been the case. I remember last year, who slipped? Maybe Venus slipped one year and got injured, or was it Serena? One of those two.
That happened this year. That happened in the
So
first
Venus,
round.
yes, it did. Yeah,
Yeah.
this year. Although I don't think the roof was closed on that occasion. But yeah, I know what you mean. But I thought Serena or Venus slipped a few years ago as well. And I've seen players slip a lot. I remember Novak slipping a few times against Van Rijthoven last year when the roof was closed. And I actually spoke to Nadal in his press conference once and I asked him about the differences when the roof is open, roof is closed. And he just said, the first thing he said is it's just much slipperier. So it's not just about, whether it's been raining and then you close the roof, but it can also just be more humid in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Djokovic serving 3-all. And he serves first serve in, backhand return. Or it must have clipped the net, I guess. So it's going to be another first serve. Okay.
Ooh. Sorry, lost it on that one.
I'm going to guess that Sinner had a chance and he blew it by hitting a forehand into the net.
No, that's not.
Okay, good. Net cord. Okay, now it's Sinner. Now it's Novak. Now it's Sinner. Now it's Novak. 4-3. Novak whacking the ball into the ground. Is that what you sort of reacted to or the point itself?
Just wait.
Oh, okay, we've got another point to come. So I'm 2 points behind, I think, basically. Mm-hmm. Okay, Djokovic punches the air. Of course, he was 3-1 down in this tie break. But, 3-1 down, of course, with a mini breakdown. And then Jannik Sinner double faulted, and that was it, really. Sinner goes down the tee. Forehand return from Novak. Oh, good winner there. But Novak has fallen as well. Referencing, of course, what you were talking about with the slippery surface. So we're at 4-all. That's, I guess, what you were going.
Yeah,
Ooh.
well, he just stayed down for a little bit. So
yeah.
I thought, oh God, did he hurt himself?
Okay, 4-all. Three points, of course, from victory, although we are on serve right now in this tiebreak. Sinner. Good return from Novak. Backhand Novak, forehand from Sinner goes into the net. I mean, oof. He's a very good tennis player, Jannik Sinner, but I don't think he's shown it today.
Not when it counts, no.
No. He had 2 set points on the Novak serve. He had break points in the first and second set. He was a mini break up here, 3-1, double faulted. From that point, it's one of those things. It's like as soon as he double faults, you're thinking you lost the advantage. Djokovic serving 2 serves now for a place in the Wimbledon final for the 6th year in a row. Clips the net. I think it went long as well. Ghosties back from his airport run. Djokovic serving 5-4. The turn from Jannik is pretty good. Djokovic does well to deal with it, neutralizing the rally, and Jannik goes into the net with a forehand. 2 match points. Meek, I would suggest, is the adjective I would use for Sinner's performance today. I will come to you in a second, Isabel, because I'm guessing it could be a very important point. Okay, 6-4, Novak Djokovic serving. Those of you just tuning in, make sure you hit the like button. And if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button as well. We are at 4:30 local time in the UK. Djokovic goes down the tee. We're in the middle of a rally now. Djokovic on the backhand. Now it's Jannik Sinner on the backhand. Good depth there from Jannik. Jannik on the backhand again. Djokovic on the backhand. And now Sinner goes into the net. And Djokovic wins the match in straight sets. Terry expressing his frustration with the way that match panned out. Oh dear. Isabel, not the best match of all time.
No, not really. Pretty boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of where we're at with men's tennis at the moment, right? I mean, it's just very predictable.
I think when anyone's playing Djokovic, yes. When the other guys play each other, it's much more entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get Altmaier against Sinner or Eubanks against Tsitsipas or Eubanks against Medvedev, absolutely. The drama and the excitement is all there. Rublev, Bublik. But
I expected Rune Sinner to be a much better match.
Yeah, Rune Alcaraz. Yeah. I think a lot of people,
Alcaraz, not Sinner.
Yeah, no. But I think a lot of people were flattened by that one too. Yeah. But also finals is what often can define a tournament, or certainly semi-finals and finals. And fingers crossed we get a final on the women's side tomorrow that does the tournament justice.
I think the tournament has had plenty of excellent matches. I always say that the best matches are 4th round and quarterfinals. That's often when we get match of the tournament, I think. Because by the time you get to semis and the final, like, everyone's really tired.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to stamina. So but I think we've had plenty of incredible matches this tournament.
We have, and to be honest with you, it has been on both the men's and the women's side the best tournament for a few years, probably at least since 2018, I would say, because we've had a few dramatic matches. Last year, we just had the injuries and the COVID scenario with players pulling out.
Well, I mean, I will defend the U.S. Open last year. Obviously.
Oh, U.S. Open, it was different.
Yeah.
Oh,
U.S. Open last year was the best tournament of the year.
Definitely. US Open for the last 2 years has been the best slam, because I think also in 2021 with the Raducanu and Fernandez year, and also even the narrative for Djokovic with trying to go for the calendar slam, and the drama of every basically Layla match was just insane. Yeah. That was a fantastic tournament. And then the story with Raducanu was just insane as well. And again, last year, Tiafoe knocking out Nadal, and seeing Tiafoe go as far as he can, and seeing the Sinner Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. The US Open has easily been the most fun slam for probably even you could go back to 2020 as well. That the COVID one. I mean, the two women's semifinals were insane. I mean, the men's final was insanely bad, but it was still fun, if you like.
Well, yeah, because it was somebody new. It wasn't
exactly. And of course, we had hats off to the line judge who managed to get in the way of the ball from Novak as well, because that made things a bit fun too.
Fun for me.
Fun for me too. It's fun. It's funny. I'm not condoning terrible behavior such as Luis Suarez biting somebody's nose or whatever on a soccer pitch, but it is funny. It is funny. And I like funny and I like fun. And Bublik, for example, is a fun guy to watch, whether he does silly things or otherwise. There is a line that, of course, a certain Australian tends to cross when he can be fun too, Isabel. And he could be in the past, but he crosses the line too much. I know, I'm with you, Isabel, now. But if you'd said to me 4 years ago, Kyrgios, I would have defended him a bit more. The high-fiving the crowd in Washington, the arguing, asking the crowd where to serve, outweighed a few shouts at his box.
Yeah.
But I think it has changed dramatically the last 2 years, that the circus has got too much.
Well, and it's gotten more like, I don't know, monetized. Like people want to pay to like see him be an a-hole. Like I think that's the only reason he's even in that Netflix show. Anyway, I feel like it's almost not even genuine bad behavior anymore. It's just getting paid to do it.
Before I let you go, because of course, Isabel, your day is just beginning and you've got things to do and work to go to. I have a question for you before we sign off, which is, how do you see the second semi-final going? And what about Sunday's men's final?
Jack and I were discussing this earlier. It could really go either way with the other semi here. But I think it'll go 4 or 5 sets at least. I don't think it'll be straight sets for anyone. If it is, I'll be shocked. But I'm probably going to go with Alcaraz. And I think the final will be Alcaraz and Djokovic in 4, and Djokovic will win. That is my prediction.
Yeah. Fair enough. Isabel, big thank you to you for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your Friday in sunny California, unlike rainy London, and I'm sure we'll be crossing paths again soon.
Oh, yeah. I'll see you soon.
Take care, Isabel. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.